Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Stephen Fox. Oswego in the building.
Yo, you're cool. What's happening? Hi, Joe.
Oh man, it's been a. Oh, let me turn off my YouTube. My YouTube was actually pulling up. How's everybody this evening?
All's good. All's good. How are you guys?
You sure, Joe, that baby keeping you up?
Nah, she's good. She's good.
Uh, you said she's what, 18 months?
Yo,
18 months, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you should be to the point where she's sleeping through the night.
Yeah, she's starting to sleep. She goes through like waves. She's going through them
Okay.
leaps. So no, she's doing good. Yeah. So I just put her to bed there about a half hour ago. So
Congrats.
yeah, now dad gets his time. It's time to talk about the Knicks.
yeah, time to talk about the Knicks and how they'll respond tomorrow to that dismal second preseason game performance. Don't be surprised, though, if the game's canceled. We're going to be nailed here tomorrow, about 12 to 18 inches with gale winds.
Say it ain't so.
I don't think the game will be canceled because no fans.
That's a good point. I just
That's-
know for the safety.
Yeah, that's the thing with some of the media, and I don't know because usually the players live up usually around Westchester, right? So they have to travel down then to the city,
Yeah.
right?
So let's see. I'm thinking we're playing Cleveland. Is the weather any better than Cleveland?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know
They
if they're
probably
getting,
switch venues.
that's a
Well,
lot of snow, 18
yeah.
inches.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
presuming Cleveland probably flew in sometime today, right? They
Yeah.
probably would have flew in so they got practice time.
So when it's supposed to hit?
It's supposed
Tomorrow
to hit
afternoon.
tomorrow afternoon. Yeah,
Well, I remember them times in upstate New York, man. You just
yeah,
made me have a flashback to 1992, 91, 94.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
got
get
all
snow. You don't get snow where you're at, right?
Now the
No.
most we'll get is ice. We'll get snow once in a blue moon, like a blue
Yeah.
moon. And where I grew up at on the coast in Beaufort, near you've heard of Hilton Head?
Sure.
Where's that?
I grew
Where's
up.
that upstate?
That's in South Carolina, right across. It's near Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually grew up across the water from Hilton Head on a small island,
Yeah.
and we would get snow like maybe once every 8 years, and by the time the snow hit the ground, it would melt.
Yeah.
And the last good snow they had was maybe about like last year. Actually, they got a good bit of snow, and I was shocked because normally the only thing we get in this area is like ice.
Yeah. You guys don't really get below 50, right? Very
Uh,
rarely,
the mo-
right?
Normally, it's like average temperature in the wintertime here is like I would say like 60 every now and then. We like when it hits 30 is like when it's late in the morning when
You
everybody's trying
asshole.
to sleep.
You got a nice down there.
But I'm gonna tell you, I miss it, man. I always said, I could have lived in upstate New York. I loved it, man. I really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. But
It's
it's
cold up
funny
there.
But when you're
because
old like me, you don't love that shoveling, believe me.
Where are you at,
Steve,
Steven? Steven, are you in New York? Are you?
I'm right outside of New York,
Whereabouts?
in Jersey.
Oh, yeah, in Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
What part? What? My girlfriend's from Jersey. What part?
I'm in Essex County.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my girlfriend's from Livingston.
Oh, yeah. Know
But
them
you know
all
what's
well.
funny, man? It's funny how your life change and stuff, like decisions get made. But when I was like a kid, like my mom had left my dad, and I had an aunt that always lived in New York. She lived in Brooklyn on Garfield Avenue. And when I was like 2 years old, when my mom left, we got on the train in South Carolina and came up to New York, and we stayed for like months. And so I always think about that. I said, well, how my life would have changed had my mom never decided to come back to South Carolina. Who knows?
Yeah.
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 Quick shout out to the
Yeah.
chat, live chat. Hope all is well.
What's
Shout
up to
out
the chat?
Yeah,
Ismail
the livest chat on late night.
Yeah, get that.
10, Quattro Cinco, Anthony 212. Really appreciate everyone in there. I just wanted to make just a quick note to the live chat that, as I mentioned, due to a glitch in the software that we're using to stream, only Freezy's able to let people in on the video chat. We hope to get Freezy back as soon as possible. We miss him bad. And as you know, he's covering for someone. So be patient with me.
Yeah.
Co-hosting a show with 4 to 8 panelists, being responsive to the questions and requests from the chat is challenging. I'm trying to learn how to type with my feet. So if you send me a question or I just say hi in the live chat and I don't respond, it's only because I didn't see it. I hope you can tell by now I would never be disrespectful and ignore a member of the Knicks at Night family. I hope they get better at multitasking during the broadcast, but be patient, and your support of Freezy and the Knicks at Night broadcast is greatly appreciated. In fact, during the broadcast, when you don't see me looking at the camera, it's because I am interacting with the chat, looking at the stats, and just trying to keep my head above the water. So thanks again. Hey, Kevin, how are you, bud?
What's happening, Kevin?
I was having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, we all thank God for technology, because we all have those days where it's like, oh no, do I have to do the three finger salute and reboot and everything?
Unless you're 12 years old.
That's what I was doing. I was like, why is this not letting me in? I had to open up a different browser and start it in, so it was weird. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's a minor glitch.
Yeah.
Shout out to Legion of the Knicks.
Yeah, Guillermo.
I enjoyed your show earlier with Sim, man. Very good, as always.
What's up, Guillermo?
Guillermo's the man. So
I wasn't going to join tonight, but since there was some breaking news that technically but untechnically pertains to the Knicks, I was like, nope, got to talk about it.
You knew you couldn't sleep on that, Kev.
Yeah.
So did I miss something?
Yeah.
Just a little
you want
something.
to find out something? Are you talking about what Tim said?
Some little.
Yeah.
You talking about what Tim said?
Are you talking about what happened out in Milwaukee? Which one?
Both. They literally go hand in hand.
They're intertwined.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know we're gonna talk about that.
Okay, so like you said, Tibbs and Obi spoke to the media today. We'll go over those comments. We'll branch out off onto discussions on some of the players we didn't get a chance to talk last night. And so let's get to the first question. I transcribed their conference. The first question to Tibbs today was, you said it earlier in the year that you wanted a say in the personnel. After seeing the Giannis 5-year, $228 million Supermax extension news today, is there a best practice way to build a team when you see these free agents taking up huge parts of a team's cap space? So Tibbs' response was, the system is set up to help the team that drafted the player to keep them. So it's hard to get someone to leave. Every player in every situation is different. You try to plan for everything and be opportunistic is important. Sometimes there's situations that arise through free agency and trade, but every day that has to be a priority for the organization to seek out those opportunities. And when you look at what's going on in the league, things can change very quickly. And so you work every day with your player development and try to improve through the draft. And then you have free agency and trades. You have to be very aggressive in each area. Sitting back and waiting sometimes is not a good thing. So based on Tibbs' comments and us seeing all the players we dream about having, such as Booker, D. Fox, Brandon Ingram, AD, Giannis, etc., signing these max contracts, is the Knicks' future strategy going to be based on how well we do in the draft? And I'm not using the T word, but playing the kids this year to gain valuable experience and giving us ability to assess their talent, even with the consequences of us having a terrible season. Do you think Leon Rose's experience and knowledge as an agent can be our differentiator because of his relationships with all the teams in the league and his understanding of the player's value? Is our secret weapon bringing in Brock Aller, the capologist, due to his expertise in the analytics that are needed to maximize the Knicks' ability to acquire the talent we need for our roster? So let's go to the panel, and we'll kick it off with you, Ron.
I tell you what, that's a Tibbs said a mouthful, man. I mean, just listening to that comment, it just lets you know that he's not currently, how should I say this? And he's not standing pat with this roster. That's what I take from that. Like, he's looking for an upgrade. As a player, as a team, as a franchise, as fans, you want to know that every night that your team steps on the floor, that you guys have a chance, that you're competitive, you have a chance to win. Nobody want to go into a season where they know, okay, there's one position that we have on the floor is detrimental to us, that we're going to get chewed up every night. So I agree 100% with Tibbs. And think about this too. Tibbs can say that because he has been in the front office too. So I respect it, man, and I wouldn't expect anything less.
Joe?
I agree. I think he's kind of giving a hint out to the front office about a bit of an upgrade, which to me is probably telling me the point guard position, as everyone and their mother in this country know the Knicks need a point guard. So that's what I tell from it. I also think that he kind of knew with the honest thing is kind of, you're looking at, everyone says about, we'll keep our money for next year's free agency. Next year's free agency is dead now because Paul George re-signed, LeBron re-signed, Giannis re-signed. I think more than likely Kawhi is going to re-sign. So I think the only way we're going to have to build this team is either through the draft or through trades.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they need to start off sooner rather than later, instead of, as me and you and Ron talked about this, about if they wait to like 20 games into the season before they make a trade, that means this year's dead. Because if we go 3-17 or 4-16 and you make a trade, it's a little bit too late to play catch up, especially only with a 72 game season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they're going to do is they're looking at what they have, and I think a trade might happen within the first 10 games of the season.
I got an idea one, but I'm gonna wait after Kev. I got an idea just popped in my head, but go ahead. I got an idea.
Write it down so you don't forget it, my friend.
Yeah.
Hi, Kev.
I don't think I'm gonna forget it because this one is a hot one. I think y'all will love it too.
Mr. Wright?
We can't hear you, Kev.
We can't hear you, Kev.
I keep forgetting I be pressing this button. When the news broke earlier,
I thought you were just
today,
in deep thought before starting.
yeah. When it broke earlier today, Giannis had signed his Supermax. I was like, well, I think as Knicks fans, you can put that pipe dream to rest. Because Knicks fans, we will hold on to the very end, to the ink dries, and then it's. Knicks fans are like Donald Trump. We just don't want to give up.
That's an ugly comparison.
Oh my goodness!
We don't want to give up.
Anything like Donald
all
Trump.
The signs is like, it's not going to happen. But we're like, you know what? But if there's one thing, like, no, give it up. And the same thing happened with Donovan Mitchell. We was like, Donovan Mitchell just signed. Like, we can still trade for him. He can be this disgruntled. It's like he literally just signed an extent. What is wrong with you people?
Same with Fox. The Knicks fans were like, we can trade for Fox. No, he just signed.
It's like,
and he clowned us.
No. So it's like we now is more paramount right now to get the most out of the players that we have. If you look across the landscape, there's not that many people that can come in and quote unquote save us or be that superstar player. Most players who are stars are pretty comfortable on their teams. Other than James Harden, but I don't know why James Harden would want to leave Houston and come to New York. So I think that's pretty much out of the question.
To go to the Nets.
So there'll be moves made. I don't think what you'll see tomorrow is definitely going to be the finished product. What you'll see in April or whenever the season ends.
I agree.
What Leon and Tibbs come up with, I don't know. But Tibbs, I think he put out a message to Leon Rose that, look, you ain't gave me nothing to work with. Give me something.
Come on now. They gave him Julius Randle. Come on.
No, they didn't give him. He kind of came into it, but I think, to be honest with you, I think Tibbs was hinting to that to Leon Rose. I think he was putting that out there specifically for Leon Rose. Like, you got to do something.
Yeah, we got to make this roster better.
There's pieces, so we'll see how how it goes.
They have the money. They have the money. They kept that $18 million for something. I don't think that they're gonna keep it to the end of the season and then give it out to the rest of the roster like they have to. Like, I think what it is, if it's not spent by the end of the year, they have to divide the money with the rest of the players. So you're going to be like, oh, congratulations, guys, we won 20 games. Here's a pay raise. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're keeping that money for a trade. They're waiting to see what opens up. And they collected a lot of second-round picks for a very supposedly deep draft in 2023 when high school kids can come out. So them second-round picks are going to have value.
I heard somebody earlier in the comment talking about we were saving up for 2023 to go after the James family. I'm like, y'all are really serious right now.
Bronny in the house.
Y'all are really serious right now.
Yeah, and we're gonna get 40-year-old LeBron James.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all
All
ready?
right, come
y'all
on.
ready? Y'all ready for it?
We've been waiting. You go.
Okay, I've been itching, so I actually typed it down on my other screen. So this person name I'm going to call out. I'm going to give you all a hint. Very good ball player. Was linked to us before. We have a history of doing trades with this particular team, and it is for a point guard.
I know where you're going.
What's the answer? The chat. Joe.
I know where you're going. You're going Mike Conley, right? You're going with Utah. No.
Nope. That's a good one though.
Because we made trades with Utah.
Before I answer this, is this player a recent All-Star?
Yes.
Are you talking about Damian Lillard?
Nope.
Is it Oladipo?
Nope.
That's from.
Come on, guys. What's the chat saying?
That's what Oladipo. Somebody said Jeremy Lin.
Come on,
that's what I said. Said
Derrick Rose.
Jeremy Lin is a free agent outright. We should have signed him. I wouldn't have mind him being back here.
To be honest, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't mind giving him. You give him a cheap $2 million deal. He ain't signed with anybody.
Exactly, and he loved New York. So this is where everything started for him.
He's the best part of his career for New York.
Come on, give us the answer.
I'm gonna give you another hint, and this one should do it. If you don't get it right this time, there's something wrong. The GM fleeced us 2 times. The president of that organization.
Kyle Lowry.
There you go. Perfect fit.
So they're going to do it 3
times. And make
guess
how old he is.
Isn't he 34, 35?
Nail on the head. 34 years old. Matter of fact, he turns 35 in March when the season is about over.
When does contract up? I think he's a free agent coming up this year, right?
I think he's in that class.
Free agent.
So guess what? That's an expiring deal that they would be willing to move because we know they've already made Van Vliet their future. They're going to go out and draft another point guard. Plus, what that would help
they already did Malachi Flynn.
That's right. That's right.
He played well,
and he looks good.
Kyle Lowry could be the odd man out. Not only that, it would help us when we draft a point guard where he could groom him, and that's what have hurt us for years. We have never had a situation where, okay, we got this point guard we bring in, and then we're going to groom him by the veteran. So I'm just saying, hey, that's a feasible deal. The guy's on an expiring contract.
He has a $30 million contract.
I do that deal, but if he's an expiring contract, I want to know there's an extension for at least another year so he can sit and groom our point guard that we draft.
Yeah, he'll have to do that. He'll have to do that. But you know what else?
But is he willing to do it? Is he willing to do it with New York with the Knicks?
I think he would be willing because remember, he wanted to come to New York before he went to Toronto. He initially wanted to come here.
Everybody wanted to come to New York.
Well, I mean, it was the only reason why he didn't get there because James Dolan vetoed it.
Yeah.
He was on his way. He was on his way here.
Where was he before?
Well,
Toronto?
He was in Toronto then. He was in Houston. No, he was in Houston somewhere. Yeah. And they were trying to. He wanted to come here, and the deal was all but done. Mr. Dolan just had to sign off on it. But I think that would be a great pickup. We won't have to worry about someone who can run a team. He's battle tested. He's won a championship. He knows what winning is all about.
All right. How much is Steve? Do you know how much his contract is? It's in the 30s, right?
$30 million. I'm looking at it right now.
All right. So you need to put Randall in that deal, DSJ, and who else? So then plus we already have $18 million. So I think,
and we won't have to use our money.
because we have so much of the cap left. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we won't even have we'll have enough for a max player next year if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Be a trade.
It'd be 18 million plus Rondo's 18. Yeah, that'll get it done. Then you throw DSJ in. But the thing is, will Toronto, because it's Nasai Ujiri, he's gonna want to pick.
Nah, we'll be helping him. So he'll be able to move that money off his books.
I don't know, because they're going to be trying to push now. Well, so the thing is that if Giannis was still available, yeah, they'd do it to shed off money to have for Giannis. Even though, well, no, they wouldn't do that because then Lowry's a free agent next year. But the fact now that Giannis is gone,
incentivized to move him. It makes no sense for them to hold him and let him walk for nothing when they can trade him.
Well, if they're pushing,
he's going to be the target.
If they're still pushing to try and win a championship, they keep him for another year.
Nah, I think he's out of there. I mean, the writing's on the wall the minute they signed Van Vliet, and they went on and picked up another point guard, as you guys were saying. The writing's on the wall. He's the odd man out. They're not going to extend his contract.
So he still has game. He scored.
And he's still good.
He averaged 19.4 last year, 7.5 assists, 1.4 steals.
What's he from three?
Pardon me.
35.2 last year.
Exactly, 35%.
And the stat I love the most: free throws, 85.7.
Yeah.
Yep.
I say go get him. I say go get him. Make the phone call. Make the phone call.
Yeah, there's a little bit of me today that's sitting here thinking, I'm pretty sure Leon Rose regrets not pulling the trigger on Paul or Westbrook.
That Paul thing was a smoke screen. It come out that they were never really interested in him.
I think it was too much.
Kyra Lewis.
I think it was too much surrounding that for them to be that, for that to be a smoke screen, because that lasted for too long for it to be a smoke screen. I think they wanted to. I think Houston tried to get them to give up more than they wanted to in hindsight, because they thought looking forward they didn't want to cloud their salary cap, because they thought, we got World Wide West and Leon Rose, they can go out there and pitch one of these free agents. But then they realized, well, all these free agents are re-signing, and so it's like, well, what are we saving this cap for?
Well, you know what?
They're going to go out and pull something.
But I tell you this, you don't ever regret having money and draft picks. That, as long as you got that, it's like a bank that's going to never get defunded. That's never going to go belly up. As long as you got money and you got picks, you in the driver's seat. And that's what I love about the front office. They're no longer doing that malpractice stuff. And so shout out to Kevin in the chat, Kevon. He said Bledsoe would be a good pickup too. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I won't say let me revisit one thing I said too.
Sure.
When I said about they probably regretting not getting Kyra Lewis, I shouldn't say regret, because I know everybody's happy with Obi Toppin. I'm here to tell you, I'm happy with him.
They wanted to move up for Obi.
But it's obvious. I think they're disappointed with DSJ. I think they're disappointed with him.
Kyra last night, 12 points, 12 minutes, I think, 10 points, 0 assists.
So he's a scoring guy.
He's a scoring guard that has the passing ability. He just has to come out of him yet. All Knicks fan wanted to take, like a lot of Knicks fans were like, we have to get Kyra at 8. Nah. If you were trading
passed on him.
Yeah, if you were trading back to anywhere between 12 and 15, yeah. And they said the same with Halliburton. A lot of people were coming out and saying in the media that Halliburton was highly rated in the draft. That was a smokescreen. He fell to 12.
I didn't like when he changed his jump shot.
Well,
when you were shooting so long one way, why you change it, and you haven't even seen high transfers in the league. You don't mess with something that ain't broken until it's proven that it's broken.
So, fellas, let me ask a question of everyone. What in that scenario would you give up any of our precious draft assets to acquire Lowry?
I would send a second-round pick.
Okay, I'm down for a second.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give him no first because he's 34 years old.
Yeah,
I would send him a second because we're helping them. When you think about it, we're helping them. We're taking $30 million off their book, which is going to help them with cap flexibility. So it's a win-win for both teams. We'll have something taken care of, and they get help in regards of so far as cap relief.
You can't throw him a first round pick because then if he's an expiring contract and he don't re-sign,
you got nothing.
Then you're gonna look like an idiot then throwing away the first round pick.
Exactly, and plus they owe us one from that Bogdanani trade. They know they do.
Boy,
they owe us one.
What do you think, Kev?
I mean, yeah. I'd probably start with a second. I mean, we got 50 of them, so one or two won't hurt. Giving it up. So, because like I said, how many times? And I don't know who made the point last night. Really, how many times do second round picks even hit?
Yeah.
So you got to look at that too. I mean, maybe a handful.
Yeah, I seen Knicks fans being like, "Oh, we got a load of picks. They're seconds." It's like, isn't it like 4 quarters don't make $5? That's how I look at it. I'm like, because where do they fall? Like, some of them are high, but then some of them are like the one we got from Minnesota for that Ed Davis trade. That's in 2026. Then we got the one from the Clippers is 2024. So we have a lot of second round picks in like 5 or 6 years. So, hopefully by 2024 or 2026, we're half decent. We're a playoff team. We should be.
Yeah. Let me just ask this question. Mr. Wright got in my head last night, and I was thinking all day about him putting the point, connecting the points together. Who would you rather have? Ricky Rubio get rid of Randall with just a couple other, straight up, no assets needed. Do that type of trade, get a guy at $17 million for 2 years, or go for Lowry.
I'm taking Lowry.
I'm taking Lowry. I'd take Lowry. Well, the thing is,
I'd take Rubio,
and I'll tell you why. Go ahead, Joe. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't think you'd have to give up Randall for Rubio. That's not a fair. That's not to make the money work. Yes, but you have to get something back in return.
Yeah, have to
you don't think Rubio's something in return?
Yeah, but you need to get something back with Rubio in return to make that work. Well, no, actually, to make the money work, you don't need to throw in Randall because we have 18 million sitting there, and his contract is what, like 16, 17 a year.
Yeah, but they're in desperate need of a.
Yeah, but they need a power forward. So
all right,
for them,
all right,
it would make sense to get Randall.
All right, what I throw them is Randall and a first round pick. You give me Rubio and Malik Beasley.
Oh, I don't know about.
I don't think they give up.
I love his game, but I just don't like the off court stuff, man.
I don't care about the look. You could shoot whoever you want as long as you put the ball in the hole. I don't care. I'm desperate, man.
No, you can punch anybody you want, but you just can't shoot anybody you want.
I'm gonna tell y'all why Lowry is the obvious pick. I mean, we're talking about you trying to set a culture of winning.
Great point.
The guy has proven that he can win. He won a title, and other than Kawhi, he was arguably their best player on that championship team.
And clutch too.
Yeah, and hitting big shots. So you'll have a point guard that can run the offense, and he plays defense. And guess what else we ain't talk about, fellas, with this guy that he will help.
He pass.
I could see him being a mentor to Powell and stuff.
Not only the ability to pass, because the guy is averaging 7.5 assists for his career. That's gonna help Obi, but scoring. What we having a problem with right now? So we killed 2 birds with 1 stone because we have a problem with shooting right now as a team, and we got problems at the point guard position.
We don't have a
win-win situation.
We don't have a point guard that can average over 10 points and 5 assists.
That's why you go get Kyle Lowry. Rubio would be a better passer, but defender and championship medal and scoring, all that goes to Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Is this what you thought in your heart, or did you see any rumor about it?
No, it hit me like a ton of bricks because I was like, who is out there that we could possibly get? And I started thinking about all the point guards, and I was like, hold up. Kyle Lowry contract got to be about up. And I believe that they had drafted a point guard. I couldn't remember if they did, but I knew that they had re-signed Van Vliet. So I was like, typically, when a team shifts and sign a guy that was the backup to the guy that was the starter, normally that starter wants to get out of there. And so that's what I was thinking initially. Like, so when y'all said that they drafted a point guard, I was like, oh, that's it. He's not going back to Toronto next year. So he's on an expiring. Toronto is going to be, trying to move him to get something for him.
I would take Kyle Lowry.
Man.
It all depends on what they're looking for. Like I give him Randall and maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds if we have.
I wouldn't even give him Randall. I wouldn't give him Randall. You know what I would say Randall for?
You have to make the money work.
Man, save Randall for.
I'm gonna tell you what I would do with Randall. I would package him with somebody, I don't know who it is, and send his butt down there to Sacramento and go get Buddy Hield. So now your scoring is taken care of.
Wow, point guard and scoring is taken care of.
Point guard and scoring, and you're getting scoring from the point guard position.
Yo, wow. Ron, you need to call
the floor for Obi.
Ron, you need to call Dolan and tell him to get Scott Perry up out of there and put you in.
Either that or use Perry in the trade.
Use Perry in the trade.
Yeah, we can send him back.
I'll give you Randall the right to be a new GM. There was some talk about that.
Remember there was talks about us giving up 2 first-round picks for Asai Ujiri.
Oh, absolutely.
I laughed at that. Oh my god.
Hey, Kevon, I know Buddy ain't a point guard. I'm looking at him as a wing scorer, not at the point position.
Oh, no
That's
doubt.
why I brought up Lowry.
Yeah. We need the 3 because the thing to me is whoever point guard comes in here is going to have a little bit of trouble because he's not going to have wing scoring. He's not going to have a shooter. The only one that have Burks unless that point guard can shoot lights out.
But you know what's funny, fellas? I'm looking. Sometimes people say stuff, and I don't want to downgrade nobody or make any belittle nobody. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we got to really think about what we write. Now, Kyle Lowry, who are the Knicks to say they wouldn't? Who are we to say we wouldn't want him? He'll be our best point guard since Stephon Marbury.
He's in a different class than Marbury.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I'm just saying, because Marbury pretty much averaged about 19 points his career, the same stat line. Only difference was one ended up winning the title, the other one did and had a bunch of outside stuff going on. Yeah. But who are we to say we wouldn't want Lowry? We ain't had a point guard.
Knicks fans said no to Westbrook. Oh, we don't want Westbrook. He's not good. He's not going to win anything. I'm like, we're the Knicks. We don't have nobody.
I'll tell you what. I'll go on record right now and say it. If the Knicks pull off a trade for Kyle Lowry, we move Randall, we get Buddy Hield. If we can get both them guys with Obi, Alex Burke still on the team, I guarantee you that's a playoff team.
Or close to it.
We'll be a playoff team. We'll be a playoff team.
We'll definitely be in the playoff or that play-in tournament. Like we'll definitely be in around the playoff tournament, like the 9th seed. Definitely.
Well, here's the thing with making those 2 moves. I don't know if it's feasible to do that because if you're not trading Randall to get Lowry, then you have to package something that equals up to $12 million.
Some of them guys we want to get out here anyway.
But here's the thing. Some of those guys you want to get out of here are to your depth. And so you're giving up depth to get one player.
See, now then the thing, you know what happens is the focus shift. Because now you're not having a bunch of young guys that's trying to develop. You got a team now that's developed. And what you're going to do now is go out and get some of these guys on vet minimums that's still available out there to fill out your roster.
You've guys there.
But that's the thing. So look at this point in time now. So you've gotten that. You used up the cap space that you had to get Lowry. Then you're trading Randall for Buddy Hield, but I think Buddy Hield makes a little bit more than Randall. So at that point, you have no more cap space to get anybody else.
You're gonna have to, just like you say, you're gonna have to package something.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, I'll be all for it as long as we ain't depleting all them draft picks. If we can still have the flexibility, because one or the other, if you're gonna eat up your money, you want to still have draft picks. You can't go completely. The cupboard can't be completely bare. You got to have some food in there to eat.
And Ron, you got to think about it too. It's like, okay, like Kevin's right. It's like we have $18 million of cap space, and you have Randall as a trade piece. That'll get the Lowry deal done.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have enough of pieces without giving up picks then to make the money work. You'd have to give up a lot of guys to make the Buddy Hield deal work. But the thing is, if we don't want these guys, who else is going to want them?
Well, what if we get a third team involved?
That could work.
Either one of those scenarios, get a third team involved.
Well, they were very innovative during the draft doing stuff. So,
hey, Leon was a wizard.
Yeah. Hey, I think that God bless you, man. That's really thought provoking, that trade, and like you said, it's a win-win. There'd probably be a sign and trade. So we insist on an extension for a couple of years, so we get something for him. Meaning he's not one and done and walks away, and we gave up assets or anything.
Can they do that? Can they sign him to an extension and trade him right away, like a sign and trade now?
Yeah.
Okay,
they could do it because he's on that expiring.
I think the deadline to do extensions is like
the
next week.
The 21st.
I think the 21st. Yeah, the
21st. Giannis had to the 21st to sign his extension.
So you would have to
get it done now, basically.
Yeah, they're working behind the scenes.
You had to do it
right now, they ain't sleeping. They're working. Leon working. And boy, if I hear we got Kyle Lowry, I would just go crazy.
Are you sure you didn't read that from somewhere?
No, I didn't. Seriously, man, I didn't. It just hit me, man. I was like, because something got to be done about this point guard position, man. And the reason why I say that is probably because I actually did a video on the point guard situation with us.
Shout out for that. Why don't you talk about that for a second?
I got to do.
Yeah. In that video, I started it off with Houston. We have a problem. The problem is the point guard position. We got 3 point guards, and none of them have taken a hold of this position. You know, Dennis Smith Jr., we passed on Kyra Lewis. It was reported by New York Post, that we actually brought him in for a workout, and then Tibbs decided to keep DSJ, and actually went down there to North Carolina to work with him personally. And so now that happened, we're giving you a clean slate, and then you come in the first 2 games and you look like how he's looked. So that's obviously a problem. He can't shoot, can't set up the offense. Now Alfred Payton, what I said about him.
Mr. Inconsistency.
Exactly. First game, almost a triple-double. Now I see why he's bounced around from Orlando, New Orleans, and now with us. Because he's not inconsistent. If he was inconsistent, we wouldn't even be talking about a point guard. Mr. Frank Ntilikina, we know aggressiveness, getting to the basket ain't his thing. That's what Tibbs want. Tibbs want an aggressive point guard to get to the basket, somebody who can make people better and get their own shot. That's not Frank. And we've seen that because they've got Frank playing off ball.
And he's a leader.
Yeah, and so it's obvious that we have a problem at point guard. So that was like the basis of that video. And I posed a question. I said, so do you think we need to stand pat and wait until the draft, or do you think we need to go and make a move now because you don't want to start the season off in a hole and then your season is gone? At the end of the day, you can develop and you can win games. I'm not with that just saying I'm going to develop and just want to lose. Ain't no athlete play basketball that want to lose. If you show me one, I don't want him on my team.
Yeah.
So like Herman would say, you play to win the game. So that was the gist of that video. It was about 6 minutes that I did.
See,
one second, Joe. One other thing is, a lesson maybe learned from Kevin Knox, that you don't want Obi not having somebody putting him in a position to be successful lose his confidence.
And especially in the early years with this kid, this year is vital.
It is.
First year is very vital to most players' development, especially when they're taken high in the draft, because they can crumble. They can crumble, especially when they don't have an adequate point guard. And Kyle Lowry, man, and that's another thing. He would mirror Tibbs. He's fiery. He'll put people in his position, and I just love him, man. I love him.
I said the night we drafted Obi, I was like, this team better go out and get a point guard, because if you don't have a point guard around him, because he had a very good point guard that probably could have been a late first-round pick in this draft, but opted to stay in college. So you need to get a point guard around them. DSJ, Payton, these guys aren't going to cut it. You need to have a point guard that can space the floor for him because he's going to be a shooter. He can shoot from catch and shoot, but his bread and butter is in around that paint. And when you don't have the space, and teams are just going to play a zone and clog that paint.
Yeah, and that's what you want him at.
Yeah, you want it. He can space the floor like he can shoot, but it's not going to be his main thing. He's not going to be Bertans from Washington and be a 4 that's going to be just shooting lights out. He needs to be in around the paint. That's the problem. Is we in around the paint have no problem. We have Randall, is he good in the paint? Mitch, Noel, Obi. Our problem is perimeter play. We don't have shooters and we don't have a guard. But what I was thinking too was about the best way if we could get the likes of Buddy Hield or a shooter around his caliber and get a point guard that can put up 19 points a game. I'm sure there's point guards that are able to be traded out there for less money on a longer deal that you could have them for 2 years and still can make a trade to go up and get a point guard in the draft to sit behind them for a year.
But the thing is, though,
they won't be the level of Lowry, though.
And that's what we don't want. We don't want no more guy might be good in New York. We've seen what Kyle Lowry have done in Madison Square Garden as an opponent coming and busting us.
So you don't want no Ramon Sessions.
No, I don't want something that looks great elsewhere, and when they come to the Garden, they don't show up. Melo was busting us up when he was in Denver coming to the Garden. We knew when he got home that he was going to light things up in the Garden as playing for the team. So it's just, there's certain situations that's just a perfect fit, and he would be a perfect fit, and it would fit the timeline because we can still draft a young point guard where he can groom, and that's the thing. We need a mentor to a young point guard. I don't want a young point guard that we got to develop fully, and you hope this guy pan out. But if you got if we would have had Chris Paul, because I'm thinking that was the whole thinking behind trying to get Chris Paul. If we would have got Chris Paul, I think they would have went and drafted another point guard, so he could have groomed him.
With the later pick, I think Obi was their pick all along, but with the later pick, they would have.
Yeah, we would have got a point guard that he could groom.
Yeah, and they weren't sold on Tyrell Terry. Like, I like Terry, but defensively was a question. And then, I don't know, Malachi Flynn to me was one that puzzled me that you passed on him.
Yeah.
We could have got a nice point guard late. And
our guy, Raw Hebrew Remnant, really liked Malachi.
I like Malachi Flynn. He's basic pick and roll point guard, and that's what the league's about. Like, we don't have a pick and roll point guard. We don't have a point guard. Period.
Is not aggressive enough shooting the basketball to make it work.
No,
hey, Kev, I'm gonna come to you in a second. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to the chat. Germ Warfare, Mind Motivation, Joe Curry, otherwise known OG Kush, Parrish Duger, Yvonne Bergen, Boost Mobile, all of you guys, really appreciate it. Congratulations to Freezy, 806 subscribers. So we're so proud of you in such a short time. This is just unbelievable. So
come on, guys, let's 1,000 before New Year's.
Exactly.
Let's
so
go.
hit those like, subscribe, and reminder buttons to support our boy Freezy. Also, shout out to the mod, Sima Bodega, New York Knicks. As always, your efforts are greatly appreciated. And don't forget to check out Freezy's Knicks Morning Drive. It's at 8 a.m. Day after day. It's hot. So you're there, Ron, this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I don't know how you do it, man. You're my idol. I had one eye open.
You know what? Chuck actually got me on there.
Yeah.
I want to see Chuck. He brought my name up. So, buddy, you want to dance? Let's dance. Come on.
Yeah. He was calling everybody out this morning.
The beautiful thing, man, with all of us as Knicks fans, man, we all want the same thing, man. We just want this thing to just run and just be sustainable. I don't want what Brooklyn gonna have.
Yeah, that's gonna be chaos.
Years, they'll be rebuilding. I don't want that. I want something that we can look at and say, hey, man, this thing was built the right way and it's set up for long-term success. I want what the San Antonio Spurs has had.
Stability.
That's what I want.
Yeah. Kev, what do you think?
Well,
Kev, what do you think, bro?
to be honest with you, like I said, I sat around all day and I just thought, like, we really we missed the bus with trying to get a point guard. There's no way that Chris Paul, John Wall, Russell Westbrook were all traded in the same offseason, and we didn't get one of them.
Oh, well, I didn't want John Wall. That contract and that injury history. Oof.
People, like I said, at this point in time, people keep talking about that contract, but it's like, well, what you gonna spend the money on? You gonna give the Bobby Portises of the world $15 million again?
But the thing is, Kev, the injuries. If he went and got hurt, because we're the Knicks, he would have come. He would have balled out. He would have looked like an all-star. Everyone would have got happy, and then he would have torn his ACL and been out for the year.
I mean, we don't know that. I mean, anyone can tear ACL. That can happen to anyone. Just because you had an injury doesn't mean that you are injury prone.
But he's had two. That's the thing. When I'm worried about Klay Thompson too is now, what's his value going to be the same as John Wall's, because they've had two serious season-ending injuries back-to-back years.
Much respect, would never touch him now.
Just the thing, like I said, it's people always want to say, "Oh, that contract." Where's the money going?
And let's just face it,
if he was healthy.
If you want to get a star, you have to pay for a star. You can't be cheap and like, oh, we want a star, but want to get him for like $5 million. That's not how it works.
Hey, we're going to touch on that in a second because that was one of the questions that were posed to Tibbs today. So we'll get there in a second. But let's go to the next one. Through the first two preseason games, this is the question to Tibbs today. Through the first two preseason games, Nerlens Noel has the highest plus-minus on the team. Even though it's a very small sample, what have you seen from him? Is he doing things to keep that starting role? And the response is nothing set from Tibbs is nothing set in stone. I like what both Nerlens and Mitch bring to the team. They're elite shot blockers, great finishers. They put pressure on the rim. So that's an important part of the team. We'll see how it unfolds, but starting is not as important as finishing. Depth is important for every team in the league, and I like the fact that we have two quality big men to help the team defensively. So I thought Tibbs' answer was politically correct, and I like the starting is not as important as finishing comment. So last night we really didn't get into talk in depth about either Nerlens or Mitch. So first with Nerlens, he's been solid. In the last game, 10 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal, plus 10. I think he's been a great signing, but I got the feel from you guys over the last several nights that you look at him as a one-and-done player. He's only 26. Do you think he should be part of our foundation going forward? And does he provide the leverage to make Mitch and his issues a possible piece in a future trade? You want to take it, Kev?
I look at Nerlens like, he's good for what his role is. And I mentioned this, I think, after the first game. Maybe it was the second game. They're both really skinny, and I don't like that. I don't like this. You play against, Drummond's going to probably get 20 rebounds on us tomorrow. I mean,
get the hell.
Nerlens' ankle looks like you could put your hand around it. It's like so skinny.
Mitch is like the smallest 250 I've ever seen. And it's like, are you sure that's 250? Because
he looks smaller than Mitch.
He's 7 foot. What Noel is 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah, they both have 7'4" wingspans, but yeah.
And that's my thing. You play against these centers, and it's like we don't have anybody big. I mean, and besides, here's my thing: you're not going to get consistent offense out of either one of them. And let's just be real. When you have teams that can have 5 players that can shoot the ball, and we, at our center position, Nerlens might have a little jumper, but he's not going to be consistent taking that. And Mitch just won't shoot. He suffers from that Ben Simmons syndrome. He just won't shoot the ball. So I just don't understand. Like, why are you putting all these videos of you shooting jumpers and you still look like a deer in headlights when your nearest defender is like 15 feet away from you? Shoot the ball.
Well, I think he wants to. I just don't think Tibbs is allowing him to. I think Tibbs is like, polish your inside game first before you start stretching
I
it
don't
out.
think Tibbs is gonna yank him if he put a 15-foot jumper on. If he just let it go, what's the worst that's gonna happen?
That's basically what
15
Joakim
footer
Noah
now.
did. Was a develop a jump shot.
Yeah.
So
What if it's
That's
a
what that
three?
was.
But if
That
he
push
shoots
shot.
it, but if
Oh, that
he
was
shoots it,
ugly.
if he shoots an
But
open
effective.
three and airballs it, then Tibbs might pull him.
Well, I ain't no worse than what Kevin Knox shooting right now.
you know what? We're not gonna go there.
we ain't gonna bother Kev tonight. We're gonna stay off Kev tonight.
You know, the point is, both of them. Can we have an upgraded center? Yes. I mean,
But it's better than what we had last year, because at least when Mitch is off the floor, you have a little version of Mitch on the floor again. It's you're not losing
Not
any.
no big
A
drop off.
stable version of Mitch.
Yeah.
See that's
But
what
the
the
thing,
thing.
what is? I mean, if you're just saying you want a defensive center, I'm saying neither one of you is good. Neither. The reason is bad spacing a lot is because the 5-man knows that whoever's playing center, either or, is not a threat to do anything, and so that's a big problem with the spacing. You can have Knox not making shots, but people know Knox is still going to shoot.
Yeah, he ain't gun shy, that's for sure.
No.
And so
You just got to give him a shotgun with buck shots to hit the rim.
hey, it'll fall. But like I
Yo.
said, you know he's going to shoot. But when Mitch and Nerlens will shoot a little bit more. But most of them are just threats in the pick and roll. But you can take the pick and roll away, and then what do you have?
Yeah.
Kevin, I brought up a good point actually with Ron the other day when we were talking about trades, and I had
Maybe
one
say
proposal.
show yourself.
I had one proposal that it was Mitch, Randall, DSJ, and a first for Oladipo and Miles Turner.
Ooh,
I do.
You guys are happening tonight, man. You throwing stuff out there that
Because
really gets the brain going. I love Miles Turner's game.
Miles
versus
Turner's
Mitch.
to get you like 15 and 7. Not a best rebounder, but the point is, at least he can open up the floor, and that helps
Keeps him
OJ.
honest.
Yeah, he can score.
It opens up the floor, and it helps Randall even. It can make Randall better. I think the problem Randall's flaws is he's trying too much in the paint because he isn't the space.
That's so Miles is last season was 14.8, 75% from the line.
Good for big man.
34% from 3, and 45.7 from 2. So
that's very solid.
Yep, and rebounds 6.6 and 1.2 assists.
Yeah,
and also 2.1 blocks, which is.
And I think a lot of
he's going to do that.
A lot of his rebounds were down too because Sabonis was picking up a lot of rebounds last year.
That's a good point.
Real good point. So, Kev, did you finish? Is there anything else you want?
No. That was pretty much it. I'm not a big fan of either one of them at a certain position.
So is the answer from you guys that you would not sign? You don't look at Nerlens as a long time, piece for our foundation at 26.
I do for his money because you got to cheat.
Exactly.
Like Tibbs said, you have to have depth.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have people who come off the bench. I just don't like Nerlens Noel as the starting center long term.
Agree.
Yeah, I don't want him to start full time, but coming off my bench, I mean, you can't ask for a better guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's gonna work. He's gonna do what he got to do, and he knows his role. That's another thing about him. He's very professional.
Yeah.
I think for this team, I love Mitch. I like his defense. I like what he can bring, and I like his upside. But to me, he'll never be able to stretch it out like some of these stretch. And to me, the best way for Obi, even though he can stretch the floor, is having a 5 that can shoot. To me, that's so important in this. It's so important in today's NBA to have a big man that could stretch it out. And that's why I think it's hard to say, but Mitch, the NBA is going to start to figure Mitch out this year, and they're going to take away the lobs, and they're going to take away a lot of his scoring, and his value is going to go down.
Detroit showed that.
I think this year before the deadline, to get the most value out of what you're going to get from Mitch, is to try and trade him now. Because
even with that attractive contract.
But you know what, though? I won't say that would necessarily be the case. The thing is when you don't have shooting, it's easy to collapse and take away the one thing you do well. Because if we had shooting, them guys won't be able to come try to double and keep Mitch from getting to the basket for them alley-oops. So if we get shooting is the key to the whole thing. Point guard and the shooting is the key to unlocking Mitch.
So let's switch to Mitch for a second. So as I just said, he has a great contract for our cap for the next couple of seasons. This year is 1.66. Next year is 1.8 million with a team option that obviously we'll take at that price.
Cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. So his playing the last game was bad, and if the only positive thing was that he played with 5 fouls, we're in trouble. So he played 19 minutes, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 blocks, 0 steals. And he was a negative 16. So he still commits those senseless fouls on both sides of the ball. Still hasn't learned not to leave his feet on pump fakes. Also, you're not the only one. So this came out of a Boston paper. They had this trade scenario.
I've seen that.
Knicks trade Mitch to the Celtics for a number 1, 2 number 2s, and Robert Williams, who's a 6'8", but with a 7'6" wingspan. He's 23 years old. Do you do it?
I would jump on that yesterday.
A heartbeat. I'd be on the front. I'd drive.
Let's go one by one. Mr. Cleveland, you take it first, and we go around the horn.
Hey, you'd be crazy not to take that.
Just real quick.
I mean,
what was it, Steve? It was, he said, number 1, 2 number 2.
Correct. Number 1, 2 number 2s, and Robert Williams. And by the way, just for Robert Williams, last season, he played 13.4 minutes a game. He, like Mitch, has never attempted, a 3-point shot. But he has that almost 73% from the field because most of his shots are from the paint. He foul total is 65%. So, he's a typical big man that way, but 4.4 rebounds, a little less than 1 assist a game, 1.2 blocks a game, and he averaged about 5.2 points. But that number 1, hopefully, you don't want their number 1. You want one of the number 1s they own from somebody else that's hopefully in 15 or less, don't you think?
Yeah, well, what's their number 1, Steve? How many number 1s are Celtics? Because I know they gathered a lot of them over the last 2 years.
Seems like they keep them.
Yeah, where are they getting them from? And then yet they're making trades too. I'm like, where the Celtics they're not still getting picks from the Nets, are they?
I don't know. They have a Russian oligarch.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh boy.
Billy King messed that one up.
I'm hoping Nets round 2 happen with KD and Kyrie.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, it's setting up either way it go. I mean, them boys' shelf life is short, 3 to 4 years max, and you better hope ain't no injuries in there. Them guys up there. You talking about that being your core?
Yeah, them guys look good. I want the Nets to trade their whole bench and every pick they got for Harden, and in 2 years it's all blown up.
And them boys will be fighting in Times Square.
So let's ask a question on the chat. So, chat, what do you think of that trade? Would you give us a yes or no? Would you trade Mitch to the Celtics for that number 1, the 2 number 2s, and Robert Williams? What do you think?
I would do that trade without Robert Williams. Honestly, the picks.
Yeah, just the picks alone. But you getting a player back, that's a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't see Boston. If Boston made a move, the most logical move for Boston isn't getting Mitch. It's probably someone like Andre Drummond.
Well, they signed Tristan Thompson, so I don't know if they're going to look for a big man yet.
They still need a big man. They still need.
They'll get Mitch.
Did you see them tonight against Embiid?
You know why they would get Mitch? Because Mitch will do something that Tristan Thompson don't do, and that's shot block.
Yeah.
And catch alley-oops.
Like I said, I saw that game tonight, and Embiid just he didn't even play in the second half, and he still had 18 points in the first half.
Beasted on him.
I mean,
So-
it was pretty.
I'm afraid he got the right coach to get him right.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag from the chat. Some yes, some no. But
No's? Who would say no to
this is-
that? This is Mitch lovers. Like, we're overhyping Mitch. Oh, he's our
Trizzy Trey,
cornerstone.
David Barker, Parrish Duger, one of our old favorites.
Like, we overhype Mitch. Mitch averaged what, 9-5 last year, and he's our cornerstone. Come on, guys.
Yeah, he averaged a little less. Mitch last year averaged a little less than 10 points, 9.7, 2 blocks, a little less than 1 steal a game, a little less, about a 0.6 assists. So he's not doing that. About 57% from the foul line. Obviously, no, but set the records for his scoring from the paint. So that's here. And I said 7 rebounds. So it's interesting because if you think about next year's draft, if they did that, and we are not able to, as you tantalized with earlier, Ron, about getting a Kyle or something. If we have a dismal season and we get a Kyle, get a Cade, let's say not Cade, we get a Jalen Suggs. We could package a Mavericks pick and that Celtics pick and go up and get maybe like an Evan Mobley or somebody else. So
yeah,
it gives a whole lot leverage. A Josh Christopher, Jalen Green, Kuminga. There's a whole lot of.
I like Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley's nice. He's just nice.
Prototype future player, man.
He does what Mitch does. He's Mitch that can shoot.
Nice.
That's the thing. If anybody telling me you're gonna give me a first, 2 second-round picks, and a player back for a player that I have that is offensively challenged, I'm taking that all day.
Yeah,
I'm taking that. That's good business.
Absolutely.
You getting more than what you paid to get him initially. You make that move, man.
I'm not a big fan of Mobley myself. He's too small.
What height's Mobley? Is he not 7 foot?
You don't see him as a 4 or a stretch 4 in the future.
What you going to if you're drafting somebody as high as you're getting Mobley, you're basically drafting him to be a backup because you got Toppin.
You got Toppin.
You're right. I wasn't thinking you're 100% right. Either he plays the 5 or nothing.
He's way too skinny right now to be
an effective 5.
An effective 5 right now.
But so is Mitch, and he's younger. The kid's 18, so he can put all that on. Mitch is 21. Mitch has been in the league for 3 years, hasn't put nothing on.
But we're talking about Mitch's can go. So my thing is, if Mitch can go, he's 250, looking as skinny as he is. Mobley is what?
3 years.
220.
Yeah, but he can get bigger. He's a lot younger. He just turned 18, I believe. By the time he gets to the league, he'd be just gone 19.
I tell you, fellas, though, that's another thing I didn't think about when we was talking about Kyle Lowry. What that would do for Mitch. You talk about him getting lobs because one thing we know about Lowry, he gets in the paint. He ain't afraid to go to the basket. You're gonna have to collapse, and that's gonna leave Mitch wide open. Him and Obi to catch everything over the top.
Damn, those Villanova boys are tough, aren't they?
It's something else.
Look at that kid. Look at that 2 games. That Sadiq Bey kid. He looked nice.
Yeah.
Everything that's been coming out of Villanova been doing great in the league.
Yeah, shout out to Tim from Nothing But Knicks.
I
great eye. He definitely was really hot on Sadiq Bey prior to the draft, and man has a great eye. The coach's corner. Shout out Sadiq, man. RJ has the body of a man, and Sadiq, he couldn't handle Sadiq. And he shoots threes, defense. But as we just said right before that, those Villanova boys that come into the league are just so NBA
Shout
ready.
out to their coach.
Yeah. Sadiq Bey is going to be nice. He's going to be nice. To me, he's a modern day stretch 4. He's 6'9". He can shoot. He can post up. He can defend. Strong kid. He's not actually. He's like a little bit slow.
His
on
first
his
step
feet.
was not known to be big, but I didn't see any of that the other night.
Yeah, no, the kid. If we didn't get Obi, that's someone I would have traded up for.
Yeah.
I really liked him. Like my dream draft was Killian Hayes and trading up for Sadiq Bey, and then Detroit got both.
Yeah.
So Detroit
I
can
was
see.
impressed with Bay, but I was impressed with Bay, but I was not impressed with Killian Hayes. I know it's only a couple games. He's a kid, but his shot selection, he looked so dominant on that with just one left hand.
But see, to me, I grew up in Ireland, right? I watch a lot of Euro ball. So
I thought you were from Staten Island.
No, Ireland.
No,
I grew up watching a lot of Euro ball younger, and when I come over here, I continued watching it. And I made a bold statement, and nothing with Knicks with Sim, that Killian Hayes was probably going to be the best player out of this draft, but it's going to be 3 to 4 years before you see it. And I see guys guys were in the chat after the Detroit game. Oh, Killian Hayes is trash. I'm like, the kid's 19, just turned 19, and he's playing his first NBA game with a bad team. You got to give these guys time.
Going against NBA level talent.
And I give him credit. He is aggressive. He ain't timid. He ain't afraid to shoot. I'll say that much.
He's not timid, but
he's a beautiful step back.
The first game, he looked lost and scared. The second game, he was like, y'all not doing this to me. And I think that's where Derrick Rose came into play. Got in his ear like, hey, you can't play like that.
Yo, would you guys consider bringing Derrick Rose back? Because he'd be cheap. And he looks better than he was with us. With us, he was only after coming off that injury.
Problem is Detroit won't give him back. Won't give him up. Because he's perfect for that kid.
It all depends on how I heard rumors that Detroit points Detroit was shopping Derrick Rose.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Lakers were in on him.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So,
I remember that.
So I think they would move him. I don't think
the right deal.
Wouldn't. Like I said, it all depends on the right deal. I think they'd move Blake if they could.
Give them Randall because they like power forwards apparently this year. There's enough of them. Give them another one.
Yeah, like I said, I think they probably want maybe another guard.
They might want it because they're rebuilding. They might want to try and sneak a pick out of them, or like a late first rounder if they could. Kind of like something we try and do, like we're trying to do with Randall.
Because Derrick Rose isn't old. I mean,
no, what is he? 32,
33,
and he looked pretty good last year, and he looked decent.
He
in
might
preseason.
Be 30.
And his shot is so much better. That shot is.
Don't you think, Ron? I thought the same thing. Wow, man, his shot has come around in his career.
Like when he shoots now, it's like you think it's gonna go in. Like you don't see him shoot and be like, "Oh, this Derrick Rose shooting. This a 50-50 chance he gonna miss." And now it seems like it's more like a 75%, 80% chance that every time he shoots it is going in.
Yeah,
he's 32.
Oh man,
he's 32. Shot 87% from the line. 30% from three though.
But that free throws and how much assists?
5.5.
And that's off the bench, pretty much.
I would take him. I would take him, and he showed the last few years that he's been able to stay healthy.
Yeah,
and you got
great point, and that's based on 26 minutes per game last season.
And you got to think of it. I'm not saying what he be under Tibbs, but when you think about it, he had his best days of his career under Tibbs.
Tibbs, yeah. Welcome home, my friend.
I remember Tibbs took him in Minnesota, brought him back to Minnesota with him.
Yeah, and he was decent with Minnesota. The thing, he wasn't good with us, and I'll tell you why he wasn't good with us, because we're the Knicks, and they threw in as a super team with KP, Carmelo, and Rose, and expected so much, and he put up
didn't have the system to fit him.
Yeah, and he put up decent numbers, but just New York fans expected so much more out of him. I think with lower standards, you put him in, and he'd be damn sure 10 times better than any of the point guards we have right now.
You talk about alley-oop session to Mitch and Obi with D Rose,
and he can shoot. His numbers probably don't show it, but he has. I think most of his shooting comes from the mid range.
Oh yeah, and then he's lights up in the mid range.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a sec. let me go into my advanced stats. And okay, so by distance last season, he was about 67% from 0 to 3 feet, 46% from 3 to 10 feet, 47% from 10 to 16 feet, 44% from 16 feet to the 3-point line.
So that's pretty good. So everything under the 3-point line, that's pretty good for him.
And that was a great, that's a perfect description, like a DeRozan type, a good mid-range game.
So, and his contract is expiring too, so I think they might give him up for the right deal.
Second rounder.
I'll tell you now.
If what you could do is get. Well, how much is his money? I think his money
$7 million this year. He's making $7,600,000.
He ain't making nothing. He ain't making nothing.
Oh, you could give them DSJ Frank and two second round picks.
And you know what? And they would be willing to make that deal because they'll lose him for nothing. Because I doubt he resigned there. They'll be afraid.
I think it was D. Jones said you can give him DSJ and Bullock.
Yeah,
that'll work.
They need a wing. Watching that game the other day, it's like, yeah, I probably need another wing player.
They put Bullock at the 2 though because they're stacked up front with the 3s and 4s. But they could use another. They could use another shooter. Because the thing to me is when you're looking at this team, where does Bullock fit in? Because if Bullock, think what Bullock is, he's a good shooter. But if his shot isn't dropping, then he's more or less useless on offense.
Yeah. Quick shout out in the chat. George Alvernia. I don't know if that guy gets any sleep. He's on in the morning. He's on at night. God bless this guy. George, we really love you, man. Yeah. He said he couldn't handle RJ and Bay's good. I see him as a young Paul Millsap. So Kaiser Soze, again, always here. Sherwin M, Richie Rich, Sean Kearns, Raindrops, D Jones, Travie Trav. Appreciate all your support and keep those questions coming for us tonight and every night. We really appreciate that. And again, congratulations to Freezy for breaking that 800 subscriber milestone. And please hit those like, subscribe, and reminder buttons. Support our boy Freezy. Let's get this thing. It'd be a real Christmas present. We can get that up to by the 1,000 thing before the new year. But everything that you do, and especially the mods, shout out again to Sima, Bodega, and New York Knicks for all you do, fellas. It's really.
And Rob the Knick is backstage trying to get in.
Freezy, do you hear that? Let our guy in. I
just went to the trade machine. And the DSJ and Bullock actually it works. It increased our wins by 6, but it decreased Detroit's wins by 11.
Hey, D. Jones said, "Yeah, I'm not dealing with AWOL Rose again."
To be honest, that's realistic. It's realistic because I think Tibbs would bring him back on the cheap.
I think Tibbs would. I really do. I think I think he'd be better under Tibbs than he was, because who was our coach then? Was it Hornacek?
Hornacek, I think.
Oof. Let me say that back. Hornacek wasn't a bad coach.
He was under the rest to implement that triangle from.
I think if Phil Jackson had let him do his own thing, Hornacek would have been a lot better, because he wasn't bad in Phoenix.
Yeah, I got to address
pretty good in Phoenix.
In the chat, fellas. I guess Sharon is trying to say these guys who are talking will never want Lonzo Ball because they are Frank Ntilikina lovers.
No, I take Lonzo Ball in the morning.
When has anyone ever heard me talk about Frank Ntilikina?
For his defense, but I will pack him if it means that we're getting Lonzo Ball.
Hey, so this is the funny thing. I was at work today, and I thought about Ron, and I bust out laughing, and my coworker was like, "What is wrong with you?" And it made me think the other night. Ron said, "Man," I gotta get post myself. He said, "Man, Randall had the ball and he looked Frank off and then passed him, and Frank was hot." And I was like, "He hit one shot." And I was like, that just goes to the Frank lovers. Like, Frank hit one shot. And
I love Frank's defense, but I'm sorry. If I got a chance to get Lonzo Ball, sign me up. I'd drive Frank to New Orleans.
Yo, do you know what? I'd call Charlotte and give up the house for LaMelo. That boy can pass.
He can't score.
But he hasn't been. He hasn't. He's only been playing like 20 minutes a game, and that's what surprised me. All the rookies this year coming off the bench. The only one that started in preseason was Killian.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what I thought. I think
his passing ability is beautiful.
His passing ability is superb, but it has probably the worst shooting mechanics known to man, and he'll never be able to do that. So him being a very low scorer but a really high assist guy is exactly what I thought.
You can't have LaMelo Ball and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist on the same team. That's just.
See, New Orleans gonna have to do something anyway, because then they picked up what's the kid?
Kyra.
Yeah. So they got what, 3 point guards?
Yeah,
and
they
it's the same thing with Charlotte. And I was thinking another
they're
one.
Gonna have to make a move. So those teams,
Terry Rozier
from one of those teams, Toronto, Charlotte, or but they said Michael Jordan really loved Scary Terry, so he really loved him.
Yeah, I would take Scary Terry because what his average was at five and it was 19 points, 5 assists, and he shot over 40%.
And you know what else? He always plays good in the Garden. That's another one.
Yes,
he always plays good in the Garden.
So New Orleans has Ball. They have Eric Bledsoe. They have Kyra, as we just said.
That's too many point guards.
Yeah,
but Ball's been starting for them. I don't think they're going to move him yet. But the only reason I think they might move him is because they're after paying Ingram. They have to have the money to pay Zion. They're after taking on Steven Adams' contract. He's making over $20 million a year.
Lonzo's contract will be coming up.
And Lonzo's contract's coming up. And I think if we give
next year.
Yeah, I think if we throw like
hey, our guy.
Let's go, Rob.
How are you?
What up, fellas?
Ain't much, man.
We're doing some trade machine here. We're trying to get us a point
I'm
guard.
getting ready to kill you, Joe. I'm getting
Josh
ready
Hart also. I forgot to mention Josh.
Why?
Hart.
What's up?
I'm getting ready to kill all of y'all. Y'all getting along like kumbaya, all the trades.
Come to stir the pot.
No.
Hey, come to mix the
take it, our friend. We've been speaking for a while. Let's hear what you think.
Hey, look, check this out. We had Anis Cantor. He can score as a center all day long.
We didn't want him though.
And give up twice as many points on the defense all day long.
All right. So now y'all want to trade defense for offense now. Now y'all want to get rid of Mitch for some offense.
Nah.
Because Mitch is
you said you driving them to the station. Joe, you said this is what I'm killing you about, Joe. You said Killian Hayes. Oh, the kid is going to need 3 or 4 years before.
I said this before the draft.
Oh yeah, but look,
hey Rob, think this now. You telling me, Rob, if Boston
get 2 seasons.
What do you mean, Mitch?
Take it, Ron.
Hey Rob, so you telling me if Boston called you in the front office and they say, hey, we'll give you a first round pick for Mitch in 2 seconds and a player, you ain't taking that knowing that you got Nerlens?
Let me tell you why I'm not taking it. This is why I'm not taking it. Number one, Boston's pick gonna probably be 27 or 28 in the first round.
They have other picks they give up.
Let me do the science. And then you talking about 2 second round picks on a high level usually don't make the team. So now you're giving me a player that nobody else wants. So you're giving me 4 things for nothing. You're not giving me anything with a name, anything that got any meat to it.
Okay, that's a good argument.
But I'll tell you, Mitch doesn't have any meat to him either.
Now the other question, Rob.
I hear Billy Preston in my head right now.
Kyle Lowry. Would you trade with Kyle Lowry?
What you giving for him?
If you giving up, let's say you give up a second round pick because his contract is expiring. So they're going to lose him anyway because they already got Van Vliet they re-signed, and then they picked up a point guard in the draft.
Oh, that boy is bad. Flynn, I've been watching him.
No, Flynn good.
So
Kyle's talking about it's good. It's good.
Bad means good, Joe.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant you.
So Rob, Kyle Lowry is the odd man up. You know they ain't gonna want him to walk out the door. And we've had a history with doing deals with Toronto. You clear up 2 things with getting Kyle. Actually, 3 things. Man, maybe 4 things. So you get Kyle Lowry. You got 19 points a game coming, so that's gonna help with your scoring. He can pass the ball, so Obi and Mitch gonna eat, and he can play defense.
What you give him for? A second
You
round?
giving up a second round pick,
You got to throw Rondell in for the money.
and maybe Randall or
With the
somebody else.
money.
No.
But
Yeah,
you won't
Ra-
do Randall because you got the cap space to absorb it.
You got to make the money work, Ron. So you got to throw in Rondell because Kyle Lowry's making like 31 mil.
I can
And
make
Randall
it
is what? Randall is on what 2 years remaining this year and next year team up.
Yeah, 1 year team option.
It only counts against the cap for 1 year this year. Whatever
Okay.
you get paid this year.
Hey, look at that trade machine, Kev, and see if that'll work.
What was it again?
Randall for Lowry.
Randall for Lowry?
Yeah.
Straight
I'm
up?
laughing. Typical Knicks fans. We're trying to trade everybody before for opening day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, but the thing is, we need a point guard. We can't go into the point guards what we have,
Look,
Ron.
the guy that we need is who we was talking about yesterday, Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, it works.
I would take that.
He said Randall works. He said Randall worked. The trade for Randall.
Yeah.
Straight, Ricky Rubio for Randall, straight up. That works better.
Nah, I wouldn't want Rick. If I got an opportunity to get that was the fourth thing. Kyle Lowry is what you trying to get to. The guy got championship medal. He's proven that he can play in the Garden, and we know that a lot of players. Come on now, Rob. You've been watching us a long time. A lot of people look good elsewhere, but when them players get on in the Garden,
you didn't notice that. You didn't notice that Lowry never could get over the hump in the playoffs. That was the reason.
It wasn't Lowry.
It was Lowry.
It was DeRozan.
DeRozan
was their star. DeRozan was their star 1A.
But look, it was Lowry that wasn't helping. Look at the stats when they went to the playoffs.
It was Lowry getting that championship with Kawhi.
Because he got carried by
he had a better start. Why you think San Antonio trying to move your boy? They're trying to move him.
Hey, look, check out what I'm saying. When the stage got big for Lowry, look, both of them didn't show up.
But that's more on your 1A guy. Kyrie, I ain't looking for Kyle to be my 1A. If you go and say he the star, you gonna lose. Hey, he's 1B.
Your man went just like this. This is what happened with Lowry. When he came and when old boy came, that's in what's his name? The guy that came over there got the ring with him.
Kawhi.
When Kawhi came, if you look at those championship games, who stepped up in those series was Van Fleet and Fiasco. The rest of them, Lowry didn't do too much. But
we're not trying to get Lowry
when they won the championship.
But the thing is,
one quick, he averaged 15 points. That in the playoffs now. I'm saying
in the championship.
That was 2018-19, correct?
Yeah. What he did in the finals.
1 second, playoff total.
I could have sworn he stepped up in that finals.
Van Fleet and Fiasco.
I know Van Fleet made some big shots too.
Yeah, Siakam and Van Vliet, because they were talking about Van Vliet. Van Vliet should have been MVP.
Yeah, so he did 15 points.
He should have been really MVP of the finals if you would have really looked at it.
Yeah, so during that run, he did 15 points, 6.6 assists, approximately 5 rebounds a game, shot 80% from the foul line, shot about 36% from 3.
That was in the finals?
Unfortunately, it only gives me a playoffs. It's not giving me.
So he's showing he don't disappear in the playoffs.
Meaning that was that whole year. That was that season of the champion through all the playoffs.
Yeah. I'll sign me up for him. I'd
rather take Rubio because on the defensive end in the age of Lowry, he's battle tested so long and he's been through a lot of wars. I would take Rubio.
You know what you're gonna get with him though? You're gonna get mentorship for that point guard that you're gonna draft next year.
Because you get also the leadership for all the other guys of how to be a professional.
Yeah,
it's a culture thing. It's a culture change.
Ruby is a journeyman for a reason.
He got about 27 million this year.
He's on an expiring $30 million deal. This is it.
Million.
The contract is up at the end of this year.
He can't teach enough for that 30 million right now. Only one worth that like that was Paul.
See, Rob, you know what you got a classic case of?
I say Paul. Paul was the only one worth
You know the Clinton. He ain't the only one. Lowry, man. Lowry. I mean, think about it. You know, you got a class of kids up
30
here.
million, though. I don't know about
Stop
that.
looking at the money, man. You can't get great players or good players for cheap.
He's
Kev just talked about that. Kev, you hit the nail on the head. Now, if you want a
he
Rubio,
doesn't move the needle for me.
you can get that. But don't expect to get no championship pedigree and building a foundation. Tim's trying to set. Did you hear what Tim said today?
Yeah,
Tim don't want a marginal player coming in here. So
You know what?
Kyle Lowry would be the person I go get.
To be honest, I'd be more interested in Derrick Rose because the numbers are close enough, and he's only $7 million. He makes nothing.
Nah, I'm with Kevin about Ricky.
Lowry getting ring and ring. Hey, like Ric Flair say, man, to beat a man, you beat the man, and that man got a ring. So bring him in the garden. He can teach these young boys something to help Obi.
Man, but I would take Rubio because Rubio is 30. Lowry gonna be 35.
Rubio ain't gonna be here though. That's the thing. Rubio ain't gonna be here, and we ain't gonna keep no Rubio, and then Rubio ain't that guy, man. Let's be real.
Mind you, Rubio does have 2 years left on his deal, so it's not like
this year and next year.
Trying to set no culture with, man. Are you trying to set culture with Rubio?
Here's my thing about Rubio. He's not a journeyman because teams don't want him. Teams value him. But like I said, Phoenix gave up on Rubio.
That makes him a journeyman.
Phoenix gave up on Rubio because they got Chris Paul.
Yeah, because they got Chris Paul.
I mean, come on now.
If they value him, it's like you in a relationship.
Listen, who's gonna value Rubio over Chris Paul?
Nobody's in the Hall of Fame
woman, right? If you don't value her, what you gonna do? This ain't working out. We need to go our separate ways. And vice versa, she'll do the same way. This ain't working out. We need to go our separate ways.
Our guy Parrish from the chat just said Rubio looked fat in the game he watched today.
Let me take a timeout on another
Rubio
James Harden.
I can't believe.
Wait, what you say?
Yeah,
I said on a side note, y'all know who looked fat? James Harden.
Oh, he looked fat.
I was like, I don't know what you been down there eating.
He's been drinking a little too much.
He don't want to be. Yeah, he's gonna move soon.
Hey, you gotta drive a car down the lane the way they was playing defense and that. I was looking at that game. I turned it off. I said, "You guys to be kidding me."
It was an entertaining game, though. When I look at the West games, I don't even look for defense. I just look for offense.
Man, I look for some kind of defense. But no, don't get off the subject. We getting back to Kyle Lowry. Hey, listen this. Listen what you're saying. You got the opportunity to get Kyle Lowry or Ricky Rubio, and you say you want Ricky Rubio. Listen how that sounds.
Because he's cheaper.
Cheap, hey, you know what cheap get you? Hey, go buy a cheap car and see how long that lasts.
I just think that Rubio is a better fit.
Nah.
Because your boy is what, 6 feet?
You say fit for the money.
Yeah, but no,
Lowry's always been he's a smaller, he's stocky, but he's small.
He's strong as an ox.
34.
He is, man.
He's strong.
Yeah.
Man, come on, Rob. If you took a poll in the NBA right now of players and they said, who would you rather take, Kyle Lowry or Ricky Rubio? You know what they're going to say. You need to get that Ricky Rubio out of your head, man. Roll with Kyle, man.
Kyle is at a different level. There's no doubt about it.
But Ron,
hold on a sec. Just from the chat asked just for me a shout out Ricky's numbers last year. Ricky did 13 points a game. Hold on, sorry about that. 13 points a game. 7.8. Well, I'm sorry. He did 13 points a game, 8.8 assists, a little under 4.7 rebounds, 86% from the foul line, and shot 36% from three. So SS, I that answer your question.
I'll take Rubio.
Rubio ain't got no ring.
17 million.
Rubio ain't got no ring, man. I told you to beat a man, you gotta beat the man.
Hey, look,
I told you that, man.
People in the front office got rings.
Hey, Rubio ain't got none.
I take Larry if you give me the.
intangibles, man.
I take Lowry, but he needs to have an extension coming with him because I'm not taking him on. Taking him up. Nah, a 1 year for like $10 million, and that's about it.
2 year with the team option on the second year.
Here's my thing. Here's the thing. Is Kyle Lowry, and we're not saying that he's not good, but is he really like the franchise-altering player?
That's what we're not looking for.
Not at
I
this
think
stage.
that's what Tibbs wants.
Nah, Tibbs wants
all-star.
No, you.
And so my thing is, if you're not getting that caliber,
all-star. Tibbs said how you can get one. He didn't say he wanted one.
And
everyone wants an all-star.
We know Kyle Lowry is a former
all-star. You can make one. You got one. You got one in the making. Two.
How many times he made the all-star team? Kyle Lowry.
Kevin Knox, you kidding me?
How many times Kyle Lowry made the all-star team?
I think he got about one or two, maybe.
I think he got about two, at least two.
I would take Lowry because it's a culture change. That's all we need to
exactly. That's what you want.
Like everyone's being picky on who we get. We need to get any
defense too.
Anybody better than the trash we have now at starting point guard. That's literally
taking that emotion, man. Go on, slam the gavel. Go on, sign that paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey Joe, I can't listen to you no more. When you want to give Killian Hayes 4 years, but you only want to trade Mitch at 2.
Because I know what I'm getting out of Mitch. Yo,
you don't know. You got 2 years. You got Mitch 2. You don't know.
Hold on a second. Mitch is at the peak of the value. His value is only going to drop.
You don't know that.
I know that for a fact. I can see it.
No, but you say Killian Hayes in 4 years, and he looked like a turnover machine in his first 2 games.
And just turned 19 years old.
Hey, look at him. That doesn't matter. Mitch is only 21.
Just turned 19. He only played 2 games in the NBA.
Mitch ain't played no college, straight high school, out of season.
Hey, that was his choice, though. He was in college. He a dropout. He a college dropout.
Look,
some of my best friends are college dropouts.
To be real with you, anyone who's one and done as a college dropout,
you're right.
Everybody's college dropout.
Multi-millionaire.
Everybody's college dropout.
They are professional college basketball players because they weren't going to class.
Steele was great this morning on Knicks Morning Drive. Shout out to you, Delano. He's saying, "Hey, why don't we just wait till the season's over and sign Kyle?" But I'm not this year if we don't get somebody.
He's gonna come with an oxygen mask.
I don't want. I don't want to throw in no more seasons, Delano, man. I appreciate what you're saying, but for me, I don't want to go in the season just knowing that you handcuff at your point guard position and you had the opportunity to make it better, and you just say, "Oh, we're gonna just ride this thing out." This point guard situation is brutal.
And what's the excuse going to be next year? We'll wait another year for another point guard. The thing is, to me, it wasn't. Look, there was no point guard available there at 8 that was worthy to get picked. They took the best guy available at Obi, but they should have made a trade or should have done something to get a point guard.
Should have traded up in the first round and got one.
Yeah. Or no, they could have said at 23, you could have got Malachi Flynn. Now he's balling out.
That's right. He traded out of that position, didn't we?
Yeah, and even at 25, you could have got Malachi. Malachi Flynn went to 29 to Toronto.
See, that's what happened when you put on your
Let's not jump out the window. Junior. 2 preseason games.
Yeah,
he's coming in off the bench.
Yeah, but I seen him in college. I seen a lot of him in college, and the kid looked nice. He should have got higher.
On this team, he wouldn't be coming off the bench.
He only still played 1 season in college. Let's not jump out the window.
He would not be coming off the bench on this team.
Who's that?
The guy you talking about, Malachi Flynn?
You don't know. Tibbs is a whole different coach than
he don't play. He ain't going to start a rookie point guard.
Remember who you talking about now? Who our point guard?
Earn minutes.
And he would earn them. You got to beat out and Frank and DSJ. You got to be kidding me.
Did not, look, man, we did not see this man up there in practice. They might have just, some coaches just put their rookies in.
Tibbs
That guy
don't do
he would
that.
earn it, though.
If Tibbs did that, Frank would be in.
Hey,
And Obi would be starting.
newsflash. If Flynn can't beat them guys up, he don't deserve to be a point guard in the league.
Be who else?
Because them two guys, two of them guys might be out of the league next year.
Hey, look, whatever Tibbs need to do, the only problem I have with him is this here. Whoever you put in there, when I look at the stat sheets after the game, I shouldn't see 20 minutes split up on 3 guards. Somebody need to have 30 minutes.
That ain't good. I agree with you on that now.
We don't know what we're looking at. It's not enough time to see what we're looking at. We can complain about them, but then when you look at the stat sheet, you don't see nothing.
But you know what it is? Tibbs say, I see what them other coaches saw.
Yeah. Hey, fellas, let's switch it up. Let's get to the next question that Tibbs was asked in the press conference today. He said the question was, a lot of talk is coming from last season about RJ. A lot of talk coming from last season was about RJ's jump shot and that he's improving that. Do you see a difference so far in his form and results? And Tibbs' answer was, I think like with most players with the long layoff, he had time to work on his shooting, and I think he did. I think he had the benefit of having a year under his belt now. So there's usually a case where most young guys will improve if they're diligent and they work at it. And I think we're seeing that. He's worked hard on different areas in his game. So I think we'll continue to see him grow because of the way he approaches it. But can he play well but the good thing about RJ is he can play well without shooting well. There are a lot of other things he can do, and I like the way he's mixing it up. He scored a number of layoffs off of cuts, and he's running the floor a lot better, and he's moving without the ball. And then again, he's gotten a lot more confident in his shot preparation, and taking good shots. He'll get his rhythm, and that's true for the entire team. We're stressing the importance of rim reads, and when you drive the ball, there are 3 guys on you. Hit that open man, make the extra pass, and when you do that, you get better shots. So RJ, obviously, the last game was one of the only few bright spots that we had. But early, if you notice, he didn't trust that open shot. He had an open 3, he hesitated, and he decided to drive, and he was called for a travel. And it's funny. I watched Isaac Okoro, a ton of this film this year. And by the way, who we'll be seeing tomorrow, he did the same thing. He's a slasher. He lives in the paint, but he has a suspect shot. So many times he was open last year for a shot, and you could see in his head, and then all of a sudden he decided against it, drove into traffic, but didn't want to do that. So we saw RJ win the game against Houston last year on a drive to the basket in the final seconds. But do you ever think we'll ever see RJ try to win a game with a jumper? So let's go to the panel. Let's start off with you, Kev.
Now, do I think RJ can win? I mean, granted, I'm pretty sure he'll try to do it. Anytime you try,
will he have the confidence to do it? I know he'll try, but do you think he'll be confident when he does it?
It depends how the rest of the game's going.
Yeah,
like
if he gets the rhythm. Yeah.
Like with any player, if you hitting shots, if you're feeling good, then yeah, have the confidence. But if you know that you've been stinking up the joint, 1, the coach probably is not going to drop the play for you in the first place, and 2, you might be hesitant. But here's my thing, and everybody always, I guess, because RJ is his golden child, I don't fall in that trap. So I look at RJ and it's like, I want you to be good. I feel that you can be good. You need to shoot better. RJ needs to be at the 2 because his size gives him a mismatch on most nights. And that's something that he needs to take advantage of. When he plays the 3, some people are just as big or bigger than he is. So it's not that same kind of...
as we saw with Sadiq Bey.
Yeah, so he needs to stay at the 2. I hope Tibbs realizes that and keeps him at the 2. RJ is going to be fine. If RJ becomes, a Jimmy Butler type, if he is a 20 a night kind of scorer, not a superstar but an all-star kind of player, I think most people would be happy with that. He's got to build around that. So yeah, I like RJ. I don't want to sound like I'm down on RJ, but he has some work to grow, but he confidence. I don't think is anything he lacks. I'll put it that way.
Rob, do you think we'll ever see RJ be a confident and consistent shooter?
Well, within the 3-point line, yeah. Yeah, within the 3-point line, most definitely. Getting to the basket, most definitely. Will his foul shooting get better? I think it will, because his shot, I think long as he knows when to take the three, be settled and things like that. Game winners, he got a few of them. You might see a few of those this season. So shooting the ball is never going to be a problem for RJ. But like as far as like Kevin was saying, I don't think RJ will be probably for right now the number one. Would you build around? He would be like we got a Robin, and we're working on the Batman.
Yeah.
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 And
What do you
being
think,
Robin
Joe?
ain't a bad thing. That's for sure. Ask Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Joe?
I think RJ could be a decent shooter. I just think he's going to make his bread and butter is going to be in the paint and in the mid range. To me, he's going to be very like he can be like a better version of DeMar DeRozan inside and in the mid range, and be better from the outside than DeRozan. But he's going to be like, I think he's going to be like a 35% shooter from outside, but everything's going to be mid range and inside
Just
the
for
paint.
some statistics, and hopefully Chuck's listening because he disputed this. Chuck, go to basketballreference.com. So this is where I'm getting it from. Must be terrible, Chuck, to always be right, man. You know, it must be real. You know, you're always right, man. So, so from 0 to 3 feet, it's 57%. From 3 to 10 feet is 27%. From 10 to 16 feet is 27%. And from 16 to 3-point line is 29%. So that ain't pretty, obviously. So,
Who's that for?
RJ.
Nah, not good, but he'll get there.
Yeah. So, but he's 57% from the 0 to 3 feet. So we know he's a monster in there. So, and that's at that point the league average is 0.524. So we know he's there, and he'll only be finishing better.
Yeah, and he looks quicker than me a little bit. His first step looks a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
like last year, sometimes going to the paint, he looked like he had sand in his shoes. But he looks a lot quicker. I have faith in RJ. RJ to me can be like a 22-5-5 guy, definitely in the league.
Yeah,
that's to me is a kind of like around a minimum.
What do you think, Ron?
So the questions again about RJ.
And whether do you feel he can be long term get that consistent jumper?
I think so, definitely from the 2-point range, because I mean he showed that he can shoot the two, and just because of his ability to get to the basket, that's more of his comfort zone. You can see it. That 3-point line, I don't think he's as comfortable, but he's not afraid to shoot it, and so that's something that he needs to work on. And the guy ain't above working. The guy is a professional. That's one thing I can say about him. Like you never have to question whether or not he's working to try to get better.
Yeah,
and
did a good job.
He's one of our smarter players on the team. Let's just be real. The guy makes the right play 9 times out of 10. He's not out of control. He don't look lost on the court, and his defense is better than advertised too. So he got the ability to end up being a 2-way player.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you guys noticed? I don't think I noticed in the first couple of games if he ever gone to his right yet.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
The first
couple
game,
of times.
The last game.
Yeah.
His first basket, he finished on. He caught the ball down on the box, and the guy was on his back, and he finished on the right side with his right hand.
The shot that opened up the game. That cut that opened the game.
That opened the game up. He shot that with his right hand, and he said he's naturally right-handed.
Yeah.
But he shoots with his left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question was, and it relates to some of the stuff that we talked about, was going back to roster building, and this is the Tibbs. Going back to roster building, you've seen it. Stars want to play with stars. How important is it to get a star on this roster, whether through the draft, free agency, or trades? And how important is it to build a base for the future? And Tibbs' answer was, I think it's critical. When you look at other teams in the league, and especially the playoff teams, there are a lot of different paths to getting stars, and sometimes it's in the development stage. And here's, I think Kev touched on it, or you, Ron. When you look at Jimmy Butler, when he came in the league, he hardly played as a rookie, and he played more each year, and now he's a top 10 player in this league. It's a testament to his work ethic and how he approaches things. So some guys continue to get better year after year. Sometimes you have to do it through a trade. Sometimes it's through free agency, but you have to be aggressive in seeking out those opportunities. They don't happen by accident. You have to make it happen. So based on those comments and Tibbs' comments, RJ absolutely checks off many of those check boxes on work ethic, his approach, his drive to get better every year. So do you guys think, we'll go one by one through you think RJ will ever be a top NBA star? So you want to start it, Rob?
Yeah, I think he can get to all-star status. You know, he would be a player that somebody would want to come and play with because he plays hard. And by the time So yeah, the answer is like, yes, he got all the qualities. You know, he got the work ethic. You know, he got the mindset. He got the skill set. You know, to be like, you know, like a high level star, but I wouldn't say superstar, but I would say a high level all-star that he can make a couple of all-star teams.
What you got feeling in about 3 years from now, what his stats will be across points, rebounds, and assists?
Okay, he looked like, I give RJ at his peak 24, 25 a game, about 5 assists, 7 rebounds, shooting about 44, 45% from the field, about 34 to 36% from three, somewhere in there. Will probably be one of his best seasons.
Yeah, we're together on that.
Hit his free throws at about a 77% in his best year.
Yeah, man, we're tight. I'm in the same ballpark. What I think.
Yeah, I'm in around the same too.
Yeah. So, Kev, what do you think on that about him and his upside?
RJ would definitely be an all-star level player. I don't think he would be like on the level of like Durant, Curry, or Harden or anything like that. But I mean, let's look at how many people in the NBA are stars. I mean, would you consider DeMar DeRozan a star in this league at various points of his career?
Yeah, well, there was definitely
the time when he was in Toronto, he was a star.
Yeah,
I felt that
he can be that type of star. Like he'll never be like a super. I mean, I hope that he will. I mean, I hope he proves me wrong, so that he ascends to that. But just from his playing style, like, I can see that the top echelon being like DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler kind of player, kind of star in the league. Like, you know, how ESPN says RJ Barrett and the Knicks, so he's the marquee player, that star player on the team
right now. Yeah.
So,
well, we know how that can easily change, right?
Yeah, but
Obi can take that mantle. Obi can take that.
Yeah, he could. I mean, just because I think Obi is more highlight,
and that's who normally are your all-stars. Your people that your superstars are normally your highlight reel type guys with numbers. That's your superstars.
Yeah, so I think that's what. Like, I think RJ can still average more than Obi, but it'll be people will look at it as Obi's team. Like, he's the best player, even though RJ is averaging more than Obi will be. Like, if they're both at their heights, it's like just because of the highlights.
Or they'll mention them together, be Obi and RJ, or RJ and Obi.
Yeah.
Sounds
like a talk show.
Yeah.
Obi would be a better scorer than RJ to me. He would.
I think so. He's more natural.
His ceiling on the scoring level is higher than RJ's.
Joe, I'm going to come to you in a second for your thoughts on RJ. Just again, a quick salute to the chat. Again, all of our regulars in here: Kaiser Sose, D. Jones, Paris Duger, Jeremy. Thank you so much for your support. Please hit those like, subscribe, and reminder buttons. Support our boy Freezy. Again, shout out to our mod, Sima Bodega and New York Knicks. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. And don't forget checking out Freezy in the morning at Knicks Morning Drive. We have 119 people in the chat, and we're at 75 likes. So let's hit that 100 milestone. Please keep hitting those buttons. So, Joe, take it, my friend.
Yeah, I like RJ. I think RJ can be an all-star in the league. He can be a 1B or a 2A in it on a like playoff caliber team or championship caliber team. I think the one thing I like about RJ the most is he doesn't give a crap about his stats. He just wants to win, and he wants to win bad. And him losing, you could even see it in that interview when they asked about not making that all rookie team. He was pissed off, and you could kind of see it in his performances. Like, what I like about him too was when he didn't start off well in the opening game, but he still come back and scored 15 points, and the second game come out and racked up 25, and efficiently, not 25 off 25 shots. Like, was he 10 from 17 or something? So I think he's going to be an efficient player. He's going to be a leader in a team, and his stats will come. But I think he's just going to be that dog that try and win. Win is his main goal.
Yeah, you nailed it. 10 for 17. You got it. 1 for 5 from 3, 4 for 5 from foul total, and all of us will take that 4 for 5.
That means 5 for 7 for the two opening 2 games, which is pretty good. So that was nice from him, and I'm happy to see what RJ. RJ to me, I think is gonna. You can already see it that Tibbs is going to give maybe the number 1 option role over to RJ and have Randall the second option. I can already see it so far, which is good because it's like now you can see him maybe take that next step, and you're giving like Tibbs is going to give confidence in him to do what he can do on the court.
Yeah. So, Mr. Cleveland, what's your thoughts?
RJ is no question. What I see him, he's going to average about 20 points a game. Going to get about seven rebounds. He's going to get about 5 assists. He's probably going to shoot a tick under 80% from the free throw line. So I'd say about maybe 78, 79% from the free throw line. He'll end up shooting about 34 to 35, 35% from the 3. And on field goals, on 2-point shots, I think he's going to end up getting probably hit about 75% of his shots. Just because he goes to the basket more than he shoot the jump shot.
1 second. Hey, Joe, are you doing some laundry or something?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard some noise in the background. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No.
Yeah. And so, but when I look at RJ's game, and I said this some nights back, it has all the earmarks and it's written. When you look at the kid, all I see is Jimmy Butler. That's all I see. And why I say that is because him and Jimmy Butler got that mindset where the only thing that matters is winning. They don't care about stats. The only stat they care about is that W in that win column. That's all they care about. And actually, if you want to be more honest about it, they're more happy to see their teammates performing higher than they do. That's what they get a kick out of. And so when I see that, and then defensively, like I said, RJ, he's looking like he's going to end up being a Jimmy Butler type player. And if he ends up to be Jimmy Butler, man, I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kevin's reiterated, and I totally agree with him that there's, say it. What's the 2 most important things, Kev?
Wins and losses.
That's my man. That's my man.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So the next question that was posed was, what can Obi learn from his second game? And the answer from Tibbs was, the biggest thing about being a pro is that there's going to be ups and downs. It was probably easier in his first game. The second game, he had more attention on him, but he can play well without shooting well. Again, he can score a number of different ways. He can score running the floor, score in the post, score off the drive, score with his jump shot, mixing it up by scoring in different ways, playing well on defense, trying to get stops, that sort of thing. He's a terrific kid, hard worker, studies film each game. You may not win, but you better learn. He took a hard look at himself on what he can do better. He studied, he worked hard, and he had a great practice today. And just be ready for tomorrow because games keep coming, but you have to keep getting better. And then Obi, in his press conference himself today, and also personally, I gave Obi a get out of jail card that second game. As we discussed, without that point guard, and he was just put in spots that didn't let him to be successful. The game will slow down for him, but he said in the media today that the practices have been focusing on defense and has all the guys talking to each other, screaming at each other about their assignments 1 through 5, and we do that in practice. So we hope it's going to translate into the game, that type of communication. And he said that, personally, I think I was just trying to do too much in that second game. I need to understand the pace of the game and help the team. And he said he felt really comfortable shooting threes because some people said, "Hey, I think he took a shot from Brooklyn on one of those shots, man. That was a long three." But he just said he feels real comfortable shooting threes. He just needs to slow down. So, you want to start off, Rob?
Yeah, I think that he can get a pass. I think like he came in the game like pretty much like, not to be getting on your boy Kev, like Knox. He came in there ready to shoot soon as he touched the ball, not getting the feel of that game. He needs to go down there, bang down a little bit down on the box, get a feel of the game. Soon as he got in the game, he got right up there on the 3 line and started firing away. And I don't think that's his game. So with him realizing that is good, that okay, yeah, and him shooting, because he started shooting damn near from Steph Curry distance, and that wasn't a good look for him.
No.
So, I think that took his rhythm, and he was never able to secure it again. So with him doing that, I have to agree, 100%. Yeah,
You're so cool because during his thing, he said, "Well, I'm comfortable with threes, but I won't be shooting Steph Curry range." So you nailed it.
I said, okay. Yeah. And like Clint Eastwood said, it's good when the man knows his limitations.
Yeah.
So, Ron, what do you think?
What I hear from those words is what you call and what you like to hear as a fan, self-awareness. But player don't have no self-awareness, they won't get better because they feel like they're already doing everything that they're supposed to do. So when I listen to Obi, I mean, it's obvious he know the weight that he's carrying, being drafted by his hometown team, and so I'm not worried. Like I said, man, I have no worries about that kid. I'm more worried about the guys that we got that's supposed to get him the ball because that's what had a lot to do with that game with him getting out of rhythm. They did not use him the way they used him in the first game. They were actively looking for him in that first game. That second game, they had him sitting out on the wing trying to play like he was Frank Ntilikina. That's how they was using him. Just sit out in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, they had him way out. I like the confidence of shooting. He needs to, when he has the ball and he's an open shot, he needs to take a couple of steps closer to that 3-point line. He's getting it. He's like Knox. He's getting it, and he could be the half court, and he's letting it go. I like his shot though. Looking at his shot, it's beautiful. Just a little bit too much of an arc on it. Sometimes you look at his Knox shot, and you're thinking, "Oh, he's going to break a window in the garden." But like he's going to get the shooting there. I think they just need to. He didn't play his role. He needed to be closer to the basket. I think what kind of put him off was the zone. He seen the zone and he was like, "All right, I have to step it out a little bit," because he knew every time the ball was going to come to him in that zone, he was going to get double teamed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what kind of scared him off. Yeah, so he needs to adjust a little bit on that and just get used to it, because we know with the Knicks shooting that we're going to see a lot of zone this year. So a lot of teams are going to be throwing a lot of zone. So
packing the paint.
Yeah, because they know it's going to be like, all right, the Knicks have a good paint game. Let's clog the paint and make them shoot from the outside, and we can't shoot. So
and that's our Achilles heel.
Yeah, so just Obi just has to get used to just seeing what the zone is like, because I don't think he's seen too much of it in college. So that's it. He'll get it. He's going to be like RJ. He's going to have his ups and downs his first year, but by year 2, year 3, they're going to keep getting better and better, and that's when we're going to see the Knicks improving.
And you know what that makes him, those ups and downs? Normal.
Yeah. That's it. Rookie year. He's going to have games where he's going to score 30, and then he's going to have games where he's not even going to score 10.
Yeah.
So you're just going to see them waves like RJ did, but it's nothing. Knick fans be like, "Oh, he's garbage. We don't want him." We gotta be patient with young guys. So, and then you know that you can see it in him that he's the worker, and the same as RJ. Him and RJ are a cornerstone. These are the guys that are gonna keep coming, and they're gonna be with us for the next couple of years.
Those are the two guys where if their shot ain't falling, they're not gonna check out.
No.
Kev?
I'm glad that Obi's first game was against Detroit, because of all the people who Obi reminds me of is Blake.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm Obi, I'm like, you know what? I should emulate Blake, because I saw him, I'm pretty sure as a kid, that's Obi, Blake jumping over Kias and Lob City and everything. And it's like, that's me. That's who I am. And you saw how he eventually, through injuries, and I hope Obi never has those types of injuries, has transformed his game. And so he's out there seeing, Blake do step back, threes on Julius Randle. And he's like, oh, I can do that too.
Beautiful passes.
Just go out there and just start launching them up. And that's, I really do think, like, of all the people say, Obi looks like Amari, but it's like, he reminds me more of Blake Griffin than Amari. Just because Amari isn't the natural, like, he doesn't have I don't think Amari had the natural feel of the game like Blake Griffin does. And that's what I see more Obi on the line of. I'll say this right now, when he misses, it's going to be a bad miss. And those misses are going to be bad when he misses them, especially from deep, that is. But
you better stop. You want to get me started now?
Are they bad misses?
Hey, Rob, he about to get me started.
Are they bad misses? I can't be objective because
oh boy, go ahead. I'll deal with you later.
Listen. I'll be the first one to say, yeah, Knox didn't look good. But just because that doesn't mean I can't be objective about Obi. Just because Obi shot looked bad, it looked bad. It is what it is.
His shot didn't look bad. That one he shot from way out on the right side, it hit the front of the rim. It hit the very front of the rim. It was on target. He just needed a little bit more. I
saw Obi time he hit nothing but backboard one of those shots.
Well, that's better than Knox because he touched
the top of the key, that three, right?
Yeah, nothing but backboard.
Yeah, that was like, it was like, whoa.
That's bad. Whoa, calm down.
That's the worst shot he gonna shoot. I take it, but Knox
did the same thing RJ did. Shoot air balls. So if you're gonna say something about Knox,
ladies and gentlemen, 4 minutes into the broadcast, we're here.
Hey, Knox got the window open, man.
Hey, RJ opened it first. How about that?
You guys are wonderful.
So I'm just saying, Knox is, y'all playing. Knox is going to be the key out of those three.
He need to be.
Those three. I truly, and this is why I said, when I close my eyes, I want to see Danny Granger when I look at Kevin Knox.
Ooh, boy,
that's
more athletic Danny Granger.
Yeah, that's who I want. I want to see Danny Granger when I look at Kevin Knox, because their games, their body type are so similar that if Kevin Knox puts it together, then it's Danny Granger 2.0.
Man, you're mount to God's ears.
He just has to put it together. And so you have Obi as the highlight, the basher, the big man. You got RJ as a slasher, and then you have Knox as a shooter. Those three need each other. They need each other to be at their very best, I think. because if they do that, then we don't have to worry about getting another team superstar. We don't have to worry about that. We just have to fill in around those three.
Yeah.
See, I done told you about those ifs.
That's
Yeah.
all.
I told you
Listen,
about that the other night. I told you about what if is.
that's a third-year player, a second-year player, and a rookie. All we got right now are ifs. If they can do this,
That's
that's
why
all we got.
they're gonna be gone, and Tibbs gonna go get him a fifth and drink, and he get ready to get him out of town.
I think that's the last thing he was already drinking, but I do think those three, Obi, RJ, and Knox, will flourish. I think they will eventually be our very own homegrown big three.
You know what? Look, if you're gonna have that and you got scoring all on that angle, all from them three, if you're getting scoring from those three, just say for instance, all three of them pop. And that's where you get your bulk of a scoring 20, 25, and 18. You getting all that from there. The perfect point guard to go with that is Frank, because he can facilitate all of that with
if you
no
got scoring.
problem.
Exactly.
With no problem. He's not required to shoot. And when he shoot, he only going to shoot when he's open. That's limited shots.
Shooting because he have to shoot, not
That's
because
right, but making
he
the
need to
pass
shoot.
is what he's there for.
Exactly.
I think that would work perfect. So if you want your boy to pop, you better pick up Frank.
You got a better chance of Frank popping than Kevin Knox. I'm sorry.
I don't know about all that. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, Knox has more tools to work with than Frank.
It
But
tools
it's
ain't
not
no
about
good if you
that.
don't use them.
Frank's job
The
is
tools
to
ain't
get
no good
them
if
the
you don't
ball.
use them.
Frank is the only guy that it doesn't matter whether he scores or not. If you got them other three scoring,
He can still affect the game.
you can give him the ball, get him the ball, and play defense.
Listen,
Protect the lead.
I'm saying
Take
this
care of the
again.
ball.
This is my third straight night saying this. Kevin Knox gonna have a big game tomorrow.
I hope he does for your sake.
He's gonna have a big game tomorrow. I'm expecting
30 minutes.
12.
What type of
I'm
game.
expecting 12 to 15.
I
He will
want
hit
to
at
see
least
him all get 30
three
minutes.
threes. At least a minimum of 3 threes.
But you know,
tomorrow.
I got to revisit that name of Frank. Frank, for me, what I want to see is I want to see him become a 3-and-D guy. Because I think, and the reason why I say that is because I think Frank is more comfortable not having to have the weight of the game on him, being the man that have to set up stuff. He looked like he relished that role of being basically the sidekick. And I think he would be better as just keep developing your jump shot. Just sit in that corner that you like to go in. Don't go in the right corner. Go to that left corner. And if he does that, man, and play defense, I'm fine with him. But I can't look at Frank truly as no point guard. I really can't when I think about it. I didn't see too much of the experiment.
Thanks for that setup because, like you said, I agree. He looks a lot more confident in his shooting. But if we look at it the last game, he fouled out in 12 minutes, 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. So do you, and when he was playing with Quickly was playing the point. So when will the Frank at point guard experiment finally be over? You want to take it, Rob?
Yes, me personally, I think it never started because if you're not getting 30 minutes a game at a position, you never really had a chance. And Frank never really, somebody just threw him out there like they did, for instance, like they did to Killian Hayes. They pulled him out there to see if they do. Frank is always 15 minutes here. He'll play 4 minutes here, 3 minutes there, 2 minutes there. Any mistake that's made in that time is not, you're not building up anything to say that this man had a different shot. I even say the same thing for DSJ. Throw him out there 30 minutes. Let us see them fail. Don't hide it in practice. Let us see him go out there and bomb out because you'll look bad playing 4 minutes at a time, not getting the right play because that's what you can't even move on from the next play because you're not even playing long enough
to get into a rhythm or anything.
Yeah, to get into a rhythm for anything. So far as I'm concerned, I can honestly say we never even really seen Frank play the point. You won't know in 20 minutes what we're looking at. Let him make about 4 or 5 turnovers a game. You let Julius make them. Let him then put him back out there. Let's see how he come back. And until I see that from Frank, Because when you send them someplace else, I bet you they gonna Popovich gonna put them out there like that.
Oh, you read my mind. That's exactly where he gonna end up at.
Any coach is
Before it's
gonna
all said and done.
look. I've been watching rookies on this NBA pass. All people been throwing their rookies out there. The only one who haven't been throwing their rookies out and their players out there, young players out there, is the New York Knicks. And we always get an excuse why they ain't doing it. Oh, you got to earn this. You got to earn that. Put it out there. Let the fans see. At least we won't talk about the player. Let us know.
That's why, to your point, Rob, that's why I feel like Obi should have been starting the whole time, because everybody knows what Julius Randle is. We know what he's going to do.
Dead man walking.
This young man, Obi, is behind the curve. There was not a summer league, and with all this COVID stuff going on, so, I mean, this guy is at a disadvantage. That's why them other teams throwing their rookies out and letting them play, because this is essentially their summer league. Obi is not getting that. He got to play behind Randall. So, and it's the same thing. That's what we've always done as a front office, which I keep talking about that malpractice. This is a little bit of it. You got to play these guys, and don't be sitting there wondering as the season goes on, well, why he ain't doing this? You want to know why? Because you didn't give him the keys to the cars like you should have when he came in the building. And I don't want to hear all that stuff, just like you said, Rob, talking about you got to earn your minutes. If you get picked with the 8th overall pick in the first round, you've earned your minutes.
Yeah, I think, if they're going to do it because I was watching San Antonio too. Now, what San Antonio did was, see, the difference is I don't care when they bring them in the game. Just leave them out there long enough to get a good look. You know what I'm saying? Don't just put him in there and then in the whole game he played 4 quarters and he only got 16 minutes. Okay, he played 4 minutes a quarter. He probably touched the ball 3 times in the 4 minutes, and then you're supposed to make an assessment on that. I don't think it's you're not getting the ball because nobody is telling Julius Randle not to touch it.
Exactly. And you know what they should have done, Rob? That first game when they saw that he had it going, they should have left him out there and just let him go. Just let him go.
Yeah.
Just let him light him. He would have finished with 20 plus in that game. The way he was headed, because he finished with 11 on how many minutes?
What, the other night, the first game?
Yeah, that first game when he had 11 points, might have been on 16 minutes, if that.
Yeah, about like 19 minutes, somewhere around there.
Exactly.
I got to hear he played 20 minutes that first game. He had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 for 5 from 2, 1 for 1 from 3, 2 for 3 from the foul line, 4 turnovers, plus 2.
He had 11 points?
No, he had 7 points.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have just let him play because he was flowing. He was in the flow of the game, and it looked like he had more points than that. But they should have just let him play. But that's the only way that kid is going to get better. And we know it's already pretty much too late for Kevin Knox.
What happened? It's early. Very
Thoughts,
early.
Kev?
Hold on 1 second. It's right. And I wonder, it's like, well, Tibbs, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to win? Or are you trying to develop? Because you can't sit here and say, oh, we're trying to develop, but Kevin Knox plays 12 minutes and Frank plays 12 minutes and you only are really playing RJ and Obi's not even playing that much. So it's like, you got these guys, and my thing is, it's not like you brought in superstars. You brought in Alec Burks and
he was a bright spot. You got to admit that.
Yeah,
no, I understand that. But it's like,
don't poo-poo that now. Don't do that.
No. What I'm saying is this: are we going down the same road we went down with Marcus Morris, where we say Marcus Morris, you should have just let Kevin Knox play, even though Marcus Morris was putting up numbers. But it hindered his development. So are we going down that same road? And it's like we're going to end up in the same place we are next year with the same questions because Alex Burks was taking Kevin Knox minutes?
I can say this, Kev, and I've been on you about Kevin Knox, but it do feel like it has the same situation because This kid looked like he's gonna take his spot. He looked
No,
like
it
he's.
doesn't. I don't think so.
I think so.
I
Hey.
don't think so. It doesn't look like anything right now. It doesn't really look like anything. It
But he
just
was
looks
a bright spot, don't you think? He
it
had that
looks like
beautiful
training
pass to
camp.
RJ. He had that
He played good in both games.
But I don't know about the
No,
first game. Like I
played
said, the
good
first
in
one. But like I said, you can say the same thing about Marcus Morris. Oh, Marcus Morris looks good, even though Marcus Morris was a career journeyman coming in. And you kept saying, "Oh, we're gonna let Kevin Knox play. We're gonna let the kids develop," and da 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 da. But we're going down the same road again.
Kevin, let me ask you a question then. That so Burks, he had that beautiful pass to open the game to RJ. He had that nice drive to basket for that finger roll. Hit a nice three with time running out. Bailed out Peyton, who looked terrible at that point. And Ron brought up the other night. He's 29 in his prime. You have to admit he has an absolutely sweet, effortless stroke. Do you think Burks is a keeper?
Again, there's nothing against Alec Burks, but at the same time, what are you trying to get? Because again, Alec Burks, I mean, yeah, he had average, I think, like 15 with Philly last year in a reserve kind of role. So, is that the best of Alec Burks can be? Have we already seen? Because 29 is in your prime, but it's not, like I said, it's not like you just got it. And again, and I'm not wishing injury on anybody, but Alex Burks has never really been the model of consistency when it comes to health. He's always missed some time.
Yeah, he only played 18 games with Philadelphia, but he averaged 12.2 points. He had 2.1 assists. He had 3.1 rebounds. He shot 83% from the foul line. He shot 42, rounded off 42% from three, and basically shot 50% from two.
Let me ask you a question. Has Alex Burks ever played 82 games?
No, his highest it was 78, his third year in with Utah. And
Taylor, you need to go to bed.
Ron Mike's still on.
So, but I agree with
in the morning, Taylor.
I agree with that. But he basically
Go ahead.
He's around, so he played 18 games this past season with, he basically was with three teams. He played 66 games with Toronto, 48 games with Golden State. So several years ago, it was and 18 games, but 64 games, 64 games, 64 games. So to answer your question, he's never played 82 games.
So you can think of about he's gonna miss about 18 to 20 games a year.
Yeah.
He'd be a piece off the bench for me. Because as Ron says, your best ability is availability. And if you're gonna
use that stuff against me now,
I'm just saying, if you're missing 20 games a year, I mean, hey, 20 games a year ain't nothing to sneeze at.
True. But I can't take the credit for that quote. I got that from somebody else.
It still sounds good.
Yeah. Like I said,
and it's so truthful though.
Is it going to kill anybody to just let Frank and you have to play to work out the kinks
and gain confidence and have the game slow down for you.
Yeah, like you just have to play. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't be like, oh well, they had good practices and they look good in practice and da 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 da. You have to let them play. Because if they don't, then they're going to keep repeating the same things over and over again. You have to work out through the funk. So,
just real quick, again, salute to the chat. Please hit those likes, subscribe, and remind them. We have 126 people in the chat, around 88 likes. So we'd love to hit that 100 milestone for our boy Freezy. Also, shout out to the mods, Sima Bodega and New York Knicks. You guys are great. And obviously, don't forget to check out Knicks Morning Drive with Freezy every morning. It's fire. So Thanks, everyone. Let me ask you a question. You guys have experience with this. One of the questions that was posed to Tibbs today was, there was a pretty long practice today. Was there an emphasis on dealing with zone defenses and how to attack them better than you did the other night? And Tibbs' answer was, we're still in training camp. So you would like to work on everything every day, but that's not possible. So you have to prioritize the things you want to get in each day that have been mapped out since the beginning of camp. And the games tell you exactly where you are and the things you need to work on. So there are a number of things we need to do better. But I like the fact that we did come back and get the lead in the third quarter. But understanding the importance of playing for 48 minutes and doing the right things is very important. So concentrating on improving each and every day. We're not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes, and you have to learn from them. And that's what we're trying to do. So panel, you guys know hoops, and some of you have experience in coaching. Do you think Tibbs' comments are the right strategy to take the kids, with the kids, the hard practices, the attention to detail, and that motto, get better each day? Is that the right thing to do? You want to take it, Kev?
Like I just said, you can practice all day and all night, but if you're not in the game, then it's not going to add up to a hill of beans. I mean, they just have to play. And like I said, it's good that, you can teach them, and teaching them is just the beginning, and how you, as Tim said, how you work and execute and practice is how it's going to translate in the game. It's very unfair that you raved all about Kevin Knox in practice, but the first time he makes a mistake in a game, you pull him out. You talk about Frank has done this and done that in practice, but he makes a mistake and you take him out. What are they learning? Nothing. So that's what the Tibbs to have to do a better job of getting them to focus more in game. You can look like the greatest thing ever in practice, but it's not translating to games. That means the coach, you as a coach, need to do some adjusting. So, because what do we have is what we have. How they say, Patrick Ewing ain't walking through that door.
Yeah. What's your take?
When he talked about the thing that I look at when it comes to coaching is all about preparation. And we know in this league that teams are now doing the zone defense. So if you're not practicing in practice on how to break these zones, I think it might have been a case where he expected these guys to know how to break them zones, because that's one of the first things you learn, really. When you start playing basketball, is how to break them zone defense, what to do, where to go, where to be. So he probably expected these guys, especially when you're talking about guys who've been in the league 3-4 years, and you had college, you had high school, you should know how to do these things, simple things. And that's probably another reason why he's knocking on the front office door to get some of these guys up out of here. It's basic stuff. Like he said, he expects you to be a professional and impact winning. Defense, you definitely need to be working on defense to stop somebody. And but I guarantee you they probably was working on zone so much, they probably got tired of seeing, they probably saw a zone and they sleep.
Yeah, because I thought of Kev, gave a great point, but also is deja vu from practices and drills where you did the drills where the ball never touched. You went from coast to coast, but the ball never touched the floor. You threw your guy, so the whole way down to the other basket never touched. You remember those drills?
Yes.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, you just made me think when I was in the Army, when I was an infantry soldier. Man, we did some of the same drills over and over and over, and you know why you did them over and over? So they become second nature to you, where it's just like breathing. You're not even thinking about what it is you're doing. You're just reacting.
Yeah,
and you can see, you can see on the court that these guys are thinking too much. They're doing a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
If anyone needs to practice that drill, is Julius Randle.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you again, with your experience, one of the things that's been really tough over the first two games, and again, we realize it's only the two games, it's been the foul shooting, man. It's insanity. These guys had 9 months off to improve their foul shooting, and versus other parts of the game, it's really hard for, I know I'm just a a layman Knick fan, but how do you go 26 for 45 from the line or 58% in 2 games? And at least RJ went 4 for 5 yesterday, but Randall went 9 for 12. What can be done to get these guys shooting better from the line?
Only thing I think you can do with them is lock them in the gym and have them just, because it's obvious they're not focusing on shooting free throws. Free throws become consistent when you work at it. And just like we talk about muscle memory, I mean, it's consistent and it's got a lot to do with concentration. Some people, you see it, they go to the free throw line and you can look at their face and tell they're thinking about something else. I don't know where their minds be. These bad free throw shooters, you can see them like when they get a whistle, you look at them and they don't even look confident going to the line. They're scared. That free throw line is supposed to be like your best friend.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody coming to block your shot. It's just
free
you.
money, as they say.
Who was that? Nick Anderson years ago that
and he never recovered from that.
Never recovered from it, man.
And before that, the guy was pretty much automatic. Beautiful. That was the crazy thing.
Yeah.
It was like a pitcher that lost his fastball.
Yeah. So
I mean, free throws is all about focus. If that's all it is, you just have to focus to do it. And if you don't have focus, then
But remember MJ, with his eyes closed, it was like just saying, I've been doing this for so much, I can hit my foul shots with my eyes closed.
Playing around and made it look better than some of these guys with their eyes open.
I know. And it's like, come on, man. A lot of us, we're not at that level, but you know what? I can shoot foul shots.
Oh yeah. I can shoot a free throw.
Yeah. So let me ask another question. Do you think Spellman or Jared Harper is going to get any time this preseason? Spellman can shoot the 3, and Harper, although he's 5'10", he has an absolutely explosive step, pretty much gets to his spot anytime he wants, and he would help in spacing. He can shoot, and if you remember him a few years ago in the NCAA tournament with Auburn, he's a dog. So obviously he'd have defensive issues with his size, but do you think any of them are going to get any time?
I think they should. I think they should, especially Jared Harper. What you got to lose? I mean, you're trying to find out who your point guard is going to be to start the season. And looking at that kid, I remember watching him. I'm like, he can run a team.
Yeah.
And he's fast and he's quick and he finishes around the rim to be a small guy.
He's a good shooter.
Yeah, he can shoot. So you don't have nothing to lose.
And with, what we heard about in pre-draft, was Kira speed. Jared has speed, man.
Oh, he's fast, man. That kid is fast.
It all depends on what they're doing with, because you don't want, it already seems like it's a log jam. And so if you're trying to see what you have in DSJ, man, you're trying to get Alfred, minutes to kind of, loosen up. And Frank's playing, and you're trying to work in quickly. It's probably just not enough time for Harper to play. Not any time that's significant.
What about Spellman?
Spellman has a better chance than Harper just from a depth situation.
But also, I think it touches on what you said earlier about there's our 5s at the moment, both of them can't keep anyone honest because they know they're not going to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And Spellman can play the 4. And
but
so
also,
he's big enough to play the 5 body wise.
Yeah. So if you want to mismatch and do something or whatever, like let's say the last preseason game, you don't play Randall or Peyton or something, then Spellman can get some run then to see what he has. That's my thing. I think they should. If I was Tibbs, I would just sit Randall for a whole game.
Yeah, you already know what you got out of it. You know what you got out of it.
See how they do.
Man. Thank you.
With everyone else. That's what I do. I'll just sit Randall for the whole game.
We shouldn't be asking the same question again. This is what we did with Fizz. Why are you not playing these young guys right now when the games don't matter? I mean, you already, and I guarantee you by now he already know who he's gonna start. I mean that if we go into the 3rd game and he don't know who he's gonna start, something wrong with that pitcher. So I think he already know who he's gonna start. So just go ahead and start. Let these other guys play and get the bulk of the minutes, so they can at least get some confidence. Because you're not gonna get no confidence sitting on the bench.
Yeah. Hey, shout out. I'm sorry. Go, Kev.
I'm gonna say there could be you can see how, like with the center position, has Noel really separated himself from Mitch? You can see how if
it's iffy. It's kind of iffy, depending on
that
what you
I can
look
see.
at.
I can see how like you might want some more time to see how they play on that position. Um, if, and I say the word if Knox has a good game, you can see how that might, because really there's only those two spots, the center and the small forward position, that could be up
Really
for
up for
grabs,
grabs. Yeah, I agree.
depending
Those
on
but the only.
how Mitch and Kevin play. Because like I said, the first. Like I said, this is my opinion. Burks to me just didn't do anything. Like he was pretty much benched the first game. He looked good the second game. So it's still kind of like Kevin, you can still take it if you have two good games against Cleveland.
Hey, hold on, Kev.
Hold
I
on.
didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, go.
Breaking news. Pull that up there on the screen there, Steve. Amani the Great, me, 216. He got a thing up here.
What?
Ron, I just saw a trade proposal with the Brooklyn Nets and New York Knicks. Spencer Dinwiddie, and I hope management will not give up the first four. Really, DSJ. So Knicks can. I don't know, man. That guy's been dissing us for a while. Do you think we'd trade for Spencer Dinwiddie?
I don't know what's going
I
on.
tell you what, I would love to have him. I don't. Anybody, if you playing for the opposition, I expect you to diss me. This ain't this is war on the basketball court. Ain't no love on the basketball court. We fighting for the city, so I expect them to diss. So, and right now, let's be real. They got the upper hand, but they'll never be this behind me. They'll never be that. I don't care if they can win 10. They'll never be the Knicks. The Knicks can win 1, and they'll wipe out everything they've done. But Spencer Dinwiddie, you know what you're getting with him.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting with him. He's a point guard.
But where is
Freezy,
that?
how are you?
Hey,
But I ain't going
what's
up to the house
good?
to get him.
What's good? What's good?
Not for no 2
Congratulations,
first
Freeze.
round picks. I wouldn't do that. What's up,
Freeze,
Freezy?
We're up to
Hey.
814 subscribers.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
congrats, man.
Yeah, I see that, man. Y'all do excellent work, man. It's not just about me, man. It's about everybody. This is a joint effort, man. Y'all are great. The only thing that I really had some trepidation about was this Knox thing having potential. Everything else is like everything. I swear, everything else is legit, like on point. Like everything, man.
When you first came on, it was so dark I couldn't see. I thought whose mark was coming in.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Hey, man, you did a good job this morning too, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every
that
morning,
was nice.
fire.
I
every
normally
morning.
don't be up that early, but I was like, man, I started looking at my phone and I got the alert. I said, oh, he on. And then when I saw Chuck on there and then he started talking, when you said you think Chuck got people intimidated, I was like, oh, let me hurry up and get my clothes. I looked at time. I said, I hope he don't get off because I sure want to get on there.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah,
Freezy,
man, that was nice.
Yeah, Freezy, this morning you know, I'd like to expound on something. This morning, again, a great show, Knicks Morning Drive. You talked about the advantages that the bubble players had playing so recently versus the teams that didn't play for 9 months.
right.
But you didn't get a chance to talk about the downside for older vets. Their bodies haven't had a time to heal. And as you know, there's a difference from being injured and being hurt. All these guys at the end of the year have nagging injuries that they play through. So do you think we'll start seeing some of the stars hit the wall when the playoffs come this year because they've been playing so long that their bodies are overworked? And do you think these guys may be susceptible for injuries? What do you think, Freeze?
Right. The reason why we didn't get a chance to touch on it is because the conversation evolves so quickly.
No doubt.
And you know, when you have the guests, it's one of the things like
But
when
it's a
Kev
great
come
point, man.
Yeah, when Kev come on, man. One of my knocks on Kev is my man has so many good thoughts that what we do is we bypass a lot of the good thoughts just and focus on the last one. So hey, so Kev, if you can hear me, man, like like the stuff that you talk about is super dope. right?
Oh yeah.
I'm
Thank
not
you. Appreciate it.
critiquing. I'm not critiquing that. My critique is the sequence in which we talk about and think about what you say. You know what I'm saying? Because you can start with your point. You can start with your point with like a couple things, and we really want to drill down into that. But then you give us like 3 or 4 more things, and it doesn't do and it don't do
I go a
justice.
little deep sometimes.
Yeah, and it don't do justice to like the first point. Like you legit say in a space of time, you legit say like 4 things, and we can't really drill down on the first 2 or 3 things because we move on so quickly. So I was gonna say, man, if you just like do one at a time, dog, our conversations will be thorough. You know what I'm saying?
He a deep thinker now. He definitely is.
Yeah. So and don't think of that as shade, because that ain't shade, man. I
Mm-mm.
want
No, I
my
don't take
thing
it at
is
all like that.
my thing is
Yeah, you're a star, bro.
it's not really
Much
fair to
respect.
me.
Mhm.
Like it's not really fair to me. Like when you say your thing, and I'm like, yo, did you hear what he just said? And then when I'm thinking about what what I'm saying, what you just said, and I'm like, dog, he done moved on already. You know what I'm saying? So, and a bunch of us do that because Steven just pointed out what I did this morning about talking about the players that got experience by playing in the bubble, and I didn't get a chance to kind of walk down that road of how was it an advantage or a disadvantage for the player, the team, and say the young guys. So to Steven's point, to Steven's question about, will that affect them down the road? I don't think so. And in a way. So I thought about this. Excuse me. I thought about this some, but not really in depth. But my thing is, with a 72 game schedule, I don't know if it's going to impact them the same. And I'm thinking like the kids are probably gonna help them with their minutes. But at the same time, to Steven's question again, their biological clock is set to a certain thing through repetition of having the experience over the years. So their bodies may break down or be used to a certain schedule. Kind of like when college players come to the NBA and they hit that rookie wall at like 35 games. Because
Mhm.
by the time, their body is used to playing 35 games. And then they get that second.
Biorhythms. Mhm.
Yeah. So man, that's a great question. We didn't really get to drill down on it this morning, and I'm glad you asked. Maybe we can touch on it some more right now, or definitely in the morning.
What do you think, Ron? Do you think they'll be impacted?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Them veterans. This season bode well for a young team. That's who it's going to really benefit. And you're not going to see it early on, but as the season go further along, I think probably mid-season, you're going to really see how it impacts those older teams, man. You're going to see a lot of players trying to sit out, and I already heard the NBA going to start finding people for that. But
Especially if it's a televised game.
It's only for
Yeah.
televised games.
So really, I think you're going to see a lot of it. You're going to see a lot of it. And by the way, Rob the Nick said he was back. He was trying to get in.
Hey,
But
I'll go ahead, Ron. Go ahead,
but
Ron.
yeah, so I really think it's going to impact the situation, and that's why we need to be running. That's exactly why we need to run.
Yeah.
Because we can speed up the time clock on Father Time catching up to him. Run them.
What do you think, Kev?
I mentioned this a little while back that this could actually players resting could actually benefit the Knicks,
Mm-hmm.
and I say that because teams are going to be looking. Here's my thing: they're looking like, what team can I rest my players, later in the season? And depending on how depending on how the season goes, they'll be like, oh, the Knicks. All right, we're gonna sit you down, Kawhi. You're not gonna play this game. That could be a game the Knicks could steal. When Kawhi Leonard's not on the court, or against a team like I don't even like Portland. Like, okay, we're gonna sit Damian Lillard this game. We traveling out east. This, had this game off. Back to backs on the East Coast. That could be a game we could steal. So that's why I look at it and it's like there's games that we could steal because teams are going to underestimate us. like I said, so that could help because we're so young. We're not gonna be resting players like that. These players need to be out there as much as they can.
Mhm.
Sitting down should be the last thing on their mind.
Make as many mistakes as fast as you can.
Yeah, so I'm actually trying to. While y'all were talking, I was trying to look up at this Spencer Dinwiddie thing. What's going on? They're talking about.
Oh, I seen that early. It was on it came across my Google read.
While you're doing that, did you hear the question, Rob, that Freeze this morning brought up some deep stuff, man, about the impact that at the beginning of the season that the guys that played in the bubble only been out, a very short time that versus the guys that have been out 9 months. But I posed the question because Freeze didn't get a chance to expound on it. Do you think down the road, though, this season that those guys are going to be hitting the wall physically and not letting those little nagging injuries, whether it's the toe here or a hip, a shoulder here, that's going to come back to haunt them because they didn't let their body rest and heal? What do you think?
I heard that they expand the roster to 15 this year, and they're supposed to be having a meeting, I think, on the 17th to add 2 more to the roster. So with that being said, I think, that's a big issue for the NBA right now. And they also made the mandate that with the public TV games that you can't sit out players, but you can do road management. So I think a lot of teams is going to be playing into that. And for that, a lot of young guys might get time to play. Because if you played in the bubble, especially if you played down the stretch, that's why that makes sense now that you're seeing all of these teams that did play in the bubble playing a whole bunch of rookies now. They all playing a lot of rookies, and that's pretty much the reason why, because I think that they know what lineup they're going to play, but for those back-to-backs in those 4 to 5 games in 1 week, that they have these players ready. So it looks like, the league is preparing for it, and they look like they're trying to offset it so the veterans don't get out like that. So, it's something to look forward to.
Hey, Joe, did you bring snacks for the rest of us, man?
No.
Oh, man, that's cold.
Yo,
So,
did
you hear the question?
I heard Spencer. Someone mentioned Spencer Dinwiddie. Is that one of these fake trade things that coming up?
Yeah, it wasn't a reliable source that did it. It was like what it was, something fan side or something like that. It was like a proposal. They throw a bunch of proposals to get clickbaits because most of the stuff they talk about I never seen come to pass.
Yeah, I think that site was one that come up with was it Westbrook trade for the Knicks that gave us, or no, it was Westbrook and Harden to the Knicks that had us giving up like 5 first-round picks.
Oh, gee.
Like, hell no. Dinwiddie, I wouldn't mind Dinwiddie, even though he started bashing us. He's nice.
Yeah. What about the other point, Joe, about we were talking about the impact of the guys early on that played in the bubble are going to be, still, they're not like the guys that have been off 9 months, but we posed the question, but what's the long-term impact on those vets that haven't allowed to heal themselves? And, as Freezy brought up also, just their bodies used to a clock. They play this amount of time, they rest this amount of time, and they've been doing that for years, and now that clock is not the same. So what's your thoughts?
My thoughts is it depends. The younger players, it might be a little bit easier for them, but the older players, can be a little bit tough. I think you're gonna see towards like the middle to the end half of the season a lot of load management. At the beginning of the season, teams are gonna play hard and try and get their seeding, but once the second half of the season comes to tuition, you're gonna see. Like say Miami Heat, they're guaranteed their playoff spot with 20 games to go, or nearly guaranteed. So they're going to start resting guys like Jimmy Butler and Bam and that. So there's going to be a lot of guys, I think, rested in the second half of the season. Obviously, we all know the way LeBron set the team up, that LeBron's going on vacation for the first month, so you don't got to worry about him.
So, yeah, but you don't let an injury heal, man, and put all that duress on your body. It comes back to haunt you usually.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I just think teams are gonna be smart about it. No one, especially the playoff teams. Us, you don't gotta worry about that. But the playoffs teams, especially I'm looking at the final four when you look at the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Heat. They're gonna be the ones to watch out for.
Yeah. Hey, again, a salute to the chat. Manchild, hope all is well. Thanks for all your support. Quattro Cinco, Brian Dubby, Maverick 2190, Saran the Man, Joe Curry, I mentioned earlier. Thanks again for hanging with us. Hey, we have 117 in the live chat. We're at 94. We just need 6 more likes. So again, please hit those like, subscribe, and reminder buttons to support our boy Freeze. We can't wait to his issues at work are resolved hopefully soon. We miss him. We miss him dearly. So and again, shout out to the best mods the Lord's ever made, Sima, Bodega, and New York Knicks. Your efforts are incredibly appreciated. And again, don't forget to check out Knicks Morning Drive with Freezy every morning, man. Wake up. It's great, man. It's great. So let me ask a question about quickly. Do you think they'll just keep playing him at point, or do you think they'll throw him into his natural? I don't know if I hear you, Kev.
Oh no, I was just shaking my head. I
I'm
was waiting for
sorry.
you to
I
finish.
thought you were trying to with your button.
No, I was waiting for you to finish.
So what do you think? You think were they gonna will continue throwing him at the point, or what do you think with our guy quickly that we're all excited to see that stroke, and hopefully one day Randall will be unselfish and get it out to him.
Like personally, he's just too small to play any other position. Like he is like small.
He has that big wingspan though, man.
He probably weighs like 160. I'm just saying he is small. Did you see him out
I
there?
know, but that's the same size as Kyra, and everybody is, talking Kyra, and he's.
But I don't think they're playing. They're not playing Kyra off the ball.
No,
that's my thing. Like Kyra's gonna be a point guard. Well, he's gonna handle the ball. I don't think they're gonna put Kyra in an off ball situation because of his size, and I don't think quickly is the same way now. Could he for a minute or two? Probably yes. Like in the game, you're trying to get up, put your best shooters on the court, like a game-winning situation. Yeah, that could work, but I don't think he could do it for long periods of time. Not on the defensive side, that is.
Yeah. What do you think, Rob? Rob?
You're muted, Rob.
Rob, help.
Rob, you're muted.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I think is I really don't have no definite thing on Quigley yet because he hasn't played, and I'm not going to base him on college. I got to see him on the floor before I even give an opinion on him, because it's kind of like, what are we talking about? Nobody haven't seen anything. We want to see it, but technically we haven't seen it. But the only thing that he can probably play is like they said he's a shooting guard, but he was running the point. So, I gotta see him out there doing something before I can even get an opinion on him. I know what he looked like in college. I seen his highlights, but I also seen Kevin Knox highlights too in college. So I gotta see what transfers over.
And I know it was a short stint, but he did that pick and pop with Obi. He did a couple of things, and I'm like, God, he has better vision and better instincts than DSJ.
Yeah, because he just made, he's fundamentally sound, which DSJ is not, but I haven't seen anything that he did was like, like I can say next level passing or anything, it was like,
no doubt,
got a basic understanding of the game. I can see that. And, I have to see more from him.
Yeah. What do you think, Ron?
I tell you what, I told you I was just, I looked at the game prior to coming coming on, and one of the persons I was paying attention to was Quickly. And for what I see with him, he could definitely play the two. He could definitely play it, and he's not giving up nothing on the defense because I watched him bringing up, attacking people full court on D, and I'm watching him. I'm watching him shift. He's not stuck to the floor. He got a real good twitch, body movement. He's not stiff. The guy is pretty good, man. And just looking at him, you can tell that he's been coached right. You can see it. You can see it. And just to Rob's point, he looks more comfortable playing the point guard position than DSJ does.
Yeah. What about Kev's comment about him not being able to play the two because of his size?
I don't think that's a problem. He's what, 6'2", 6'3"? Oh, that ain't a problem. 6'3". I mean, that's a decent height. I mean, he ain't no small fry. He ain't 6 foot or 5'11". You know what I mean? The guy's 6'3". He can play the two.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why he was playing combo guard in college.
Yeah, I'm just verifying. Let me 6'3", 188.
Yeah, he definitely can play the two.
About like 190. That's what I thought.
Yeah, he can play the two.
Yeah. Kevin shortchanged him a few. I wish I was that lucky.
Pretty much when Miller can play it right now, he can probably put on another 10 pounds of muscle within the next year and a half.
And you know that happen. They're gonna put him in a nutritionalist and put him in that gym.
Yeah. But Tibbs' comments about him have been glowing. First one in, last out, hard worker, film, goes home, comes back at night. That you couldn't ask more from a rookie than what he's displaying, and he's just a really good kid. And that's why you look at the nucleus, the RJ, just a wonderful kid. The Obi's a great kid. Quickly's a great kid. That talks of bringing guys like Buddy Hield and stuff that have a history of not necessarily being great kids. That do we want to maybe throw something into the mix that could hurt our future culture? What do you guys think? Is it worth taking on players that have had some issues in the past when you have a nucleus of, good kids, unselfish kids, and, etc.?
You know what? I think that'll take care of itself. For one, if you're playing for Tibbs, he ain't playing with you. So that'll handle itself. And then when you got strong players on the court, like an RJ and Toppin, Quickly, you got guys who came from winning situations, and that's what I like. The players that we drafted were coached right. You know what I mean? Here in the recent years, I mean, we got Duke guys, we got Kentucky guys. These guys know about culture and what's detrimental to it and what's going to be, something they need to check if somebody's out of line. I don't think it'll be a problem. Then, like I said, the ultimate situation controller is the coach being Tibbs. He ain't putting up with nothing.
Yeah, so tomorrow, let's talk about, Okoro. He played forward. Hey, let me ask you a question, Kev. How do you think Kev's going to do if Okoro is facing him? He's supposed to
He is going to bust Okoro.
He's going to disappear.
Listen. I'm telling you, I'm expecting no less than 12 tomorrow from Kevin Knox.
Yeah, but did you make that determination realizing that he was going to face somebody who's supposed to be in a very short time an elite defender in this league?
Here's my thing. As a rookie, it's one thing saying, "Oh, I'm an elite defender." You still got to do it on the big stage. And say what you want about Kevin Knox. This is his third NBA season. I hope, and I don't think, unless Kevin Knox starts, I don't think he's going to be matched up with Okoro that much. I was looking at Cleveland's team. Cause I think somebody is hurt on Cleveland and I say that.
I think Kevin Love.
Well, I say that because Dotson didn't start the first game, but he started the second game.
Played 31 minutes, man.
Well, the first game or the second game?
Second game.
Yeah, like he didn't start. I think he played like maybe 20 minutes the first game, but he didn't. He started the second game. So that makes me think like somebody is
This
hurt.
day Sexton is not playing. Maverick 2190 in the chat said it.
Well, that will, like I said, that
What do
kind
you
of
say?
takes.
I didn't catch that. Who do you say is not playing?
Sexton.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Because I see
Um,
Garland's playing, and usually if somebody's not playing, it's usually Garland historically.
The kid from Nashville, Tennessee.
So I look at it
Which-
like you're going up against 9 times out of 10, probably Kevin Porter Jr. Is he even?
I don't think he's in camp.
Yeah. So the last game it was Okoro, Larry Nance Jr., Drummond, Dotson, by the way, 31 minutes, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 points. Darius Garland had 17. I love if Garland could stay healthy. He has a beautiful stroke, man.
Always did, even in high school.
Yeah. So I know he had a short stint. What was it, Vanderbilt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a hometown kid from
Yeah.
Nashville and went to Vandy.
Dante Exum had a huge game, man. 23 points. Let's see who else. That was pretty much all the guys, the fan makers, everybody else are just guys fighting for the.
So I'm trying to figure out like who was their backup wing player if Kevin Porter's not even playing. Is it Nance?
Yeah, well, Nancy's a forward, so you had Drummond at the center. You had Garland, Dotson at the 1 and 2. You had Drummond at the 5. You had Nance at the 4, and Isaac was at the 3.
Who's on their bench?
Really, no names. The big one obviously was Exum, who came off the bench, but Lamar Stevens, Thon Maker, Matt Mooney, Marcus Bolden, Levi Randolph, Dean Wade, Dylan Windler. So
I might say Knox might get 20 tomorrow. Going on that list, he might drop 20 on him. I don't know any of them people.
If Knox get 20 tomorrow, that must be me and we going to the playoffs.
You saying Knox can't get 20, Ron?
I don't have I hate to say it, man. Like I told you, I ain't running nobody out of town yet. But I just ain't too confident in Knox shooting right now, man. He got to show me before I can 20. I just want to see him get 10. Let's be real, and I ain't even joking, man. I want to see him get 10. He get 10, I'm happy. And somebody need to tell him, man, Kev, that's your boy, man. Call him up and tell him, go to the basket. Every time you look, he want to start the game shooting them jump shots. And
like I said, I'm going off. Listen, this might be one of them matchups that's I was like, man, I got somebody named Mooney guarding me.
Does good, man.
I don't know who this Mooney is, but he guarded me. I need to attack him because odds are I'm way better than he is.
He just need to work closer to the basket.
Yeah.
He starts like he gotta like back up 30 feet and come running in. He needs to start closer to the basket and he'll be all right. That's it.
Yeah, he need to take a page from RJ. Go to the basket.
yeah.
Who y'all talking about, Knox?
Yeah, he said your boy Kev said Knox gonna score 20 tomorrow night. What you think of that, Freezy?
Hey, that game must be going to like quadruple overtime. If Knox scores 20. that game must be going to like 9 overtimes. If Knox scoring 20.
I'm looking at the matchups, and I have no idea who is on Cleveland's bench. Not
I'm telling
one.
you, Dylan Windler is legit licking
Hey,
his chops. Dylan
Freezy.
Windler is licking his chops. He can't wait to get Kevin Knox.
Who is this?
Shout out to CJ VS The World. Says Knox can't even get 20 minutes.
Right. Nick Gay's out there, the professor. Always enjoy his wisdom. How are you, Nick? So, yeah, I'm looking at the first game of the Cavs. Osman, who didn't play the second game, scored 22. He's at the forward position, as you know. Kevin Love, I think, has a calf issue. He didn't play. Drummond, obviously. Okoro had 18. Hey, so 18, 15 for a guy who can't, score. He looks, obviously it's preseason, but I like that kid. I like him a lot. And that was, that's pretty much their team, man.
Yeah, so the Knox issue is not a matchup issue. The Knox issue is the kid can't play. That's what the issue is right now. We need to legit make sure that we temper expectations for certain kids. Like we don't want to put unreasonable expectations on kids. Like if we say Knox is going to score 20 tomorrow and then come back tomorrow night after Knox scores 7, we are legit going to be like, what is Thibodeau doing with Knox?
But suppose he scored 20, then what you going to say?
It's temper expectations. It's the worst team. We
Can
play
you
the
answer
second.
the question?
I'm answering the question.
No,
If
you're
Knox,
not. If he scored 20,
I'm not answering the question because you keep cutting me off. If you stop cutting me off, I can answer the question. So if Knox scores 20 tomorrow against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who is one of the worst teams in the league, and it's preseason, what we're gonna say is it's about time we've seen Knox show some life, but we have to keep these things in perspective. It's not like if Knox scored 20 points in Game 7, we're gonna bash him. You know what I'm saying? If it was a Knox scored 20 in a playoff in a high leverage situation, we'd be like, "Hey man, Knox stepped his game up." But just rewarding him for being alive is not good.
No, I
I'm
just
gonna
said
say
what
something.
you going to say. I didn't say.
I'm gonna say something. If the New
I
York,
said, what are you going to say?
if this New York Knicks
You
team,
made it a we thing. I said, what are you going to say? Not we. What are you going to say? What are Uncle Freezy going to say? Not
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say Knox played against one of the worst teams in the league in the preseason. Right,
you know, like
and the fact that he scored 20 points just shows that he has life and is an NBA player. But I'm not ready to anoint him because it's not a high leverage game. Let's just temper expectations.
okay. I just wanted to know what you was gonna say.
Yeah, why force Knox into 20 points? How about we say Knox looked aggressive. Knox took advantage of opportunities. You can see the coaching is paying off. As opposed to drawing a line in the sand, and if you don't cross it, then somebody else is at fault.
That's Cavs guy. I just asked the question.
Because because in the first game when I said Knox looked aggressive and Knox was doing all this, you said Knox was like a 6'9" Tree Rollins, and so
right.
So Jerome he just did that. He was doing that. He just said that. He did that in the first game, and you still killed him. You gave him no credit. So I'm saying, okay, he goes out there, looks aggressive, and scores 20, and then it's against Cleveland.
No, man, I'm saying, listen, we need to temper expectations, right? We have legit unreasonable expectations. It's like saying,
why are they unreasonable? He has a bet.
Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself, man. Stop while you're ahead.
When's the last time you saw Kevin Knox score 20 points?
I don't know. I don't keep up with it. I'm sure he scored 20 points sometime last year. I guarantee he had a 20-point game last season.
But that's the reason why I'm saying just chill out, man. The thing is Knicks
shoot
fans
10 before you get 20.
Yeah.
You're going too high, man. You should.
No, I'm not, because this is why I'm not going too high. I'm not going high enough for Kevin Knox, because we should have these expectations for Kevin Knox. I'm not sitting here trying to pacify Kevin Knox like, oh, get me 10. No, Kevin Knox, get your behind out there against Cleveland and get 20.
You know what's sad though is when we have more confidence in a person than they have in themselves. That's sad. Because I don't see nothing in Kevin Knox's game right now that show me that he's confident shooting the ball. It's looking like a sweet repeat. And I'm telling you, the airplane is on, the jet is on the tarmac.
You're not giving him a chance, Ron. 2 preseason games.
Hey, I'm just saying some tickets are bought. We just don't know who's going to be in them seats yet.
Hey, to answer your question, he last 21. It was a couple of years ago. He had 21 points. 31 points. His high last year was 19 points.
So he was 1 point away from 20. Okay.
I was one number away from winning the lottery.
Steve said it's been a couple of years ago.
Listen,
But it was 31 though in the rookie year. That's good. That's impressive.
Hey,
and who was that? Who was that 31 against?
Atlanta probably.
Doesn't
who
say.
had his 20 games?
I
'Cause
think
you
I
put
remember that game.
He had
them
15
guys
rebounds, by the way. He had 15 rebounds in that game, 31,
Wow.
31 points, 2 blocks.
Knox be talking about you sure that ain't somebody else, Steve? I think you looking at somebody else
I'm
stats.
sorry, I had the AD page up. I apologize. But seriously, he did he attempted 12 threes that game. So yeah, he had
I want to
15.
see Kevin Knox attempt 12 threes tomorrow.
Hey, we need to find out. We need
I
to
just
find
wanted
out
to jack
if
it up.
Knox was gambling. We need to find if he was gambling because he might have owed some sports book. He might have been fixing games, man. Something was wrong with that kid, man.
But look, I'm telling you,
gotta go
everything
back to my
generates
uncle.
a point guard. Everybody can look bad. Everybody can look bad without a point guard.
You're right. You're right. When he can't set you up, you're right. It's like fend for yourself.
Yeah, you out there just wilding. Really?
Doing whatever you want to do. That's what it was like with Fizz now. Hey, you want the ball?
Look, check this out. He had a good year when Moutier was the point guard. One thing about Moutier, he knew how to run a team. He was going down and couldn't play no defense, but he knew how to run a team.
I'm going to say this. Kevin Knox is the last most significant rookie, or has the most rookie accolades to any player on the Knicks right now.
I'm not sure I understand what that means.
As in, Kevin Knox has won Rookie of the Month.
Oh,
Kevin Knox was on the all-rookie team. Name another rookie that had those 2 accomplishments.
gotcha.
Name 2 players on the Knicks. Did RJ accomplish either one of those things?
That's true.
Nope.
You got a point. You got a point there.
Damn, I hate
And
when
that's when
But
he
you
had
know what the sad thing is? It's like distant memory, man. That stuff got dust.
It
It's like
was 2 years ago.
you know, it's like this.
2-point guard changed everything.
You blowing the dust off all that, man.
2 years ago.
Hey, you know how long dust don't take long to accumulate.
Hey, look, once Moutier went,
Hey, man, that was me. Oh.
I'm just saying, some people can say that Knox had a better rookie season than RJ did.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you this, Kev. If that boy, every time he shoots the ball, I say for myself, I say, please let it go in. Please let it go in, because it'll mean the world for his confidence. And I think that's where it got a lot to do. All jokes aside,
Like I said, every shooter just needs to see the ball go in.
See, but Knox can't say it publicly. This is what Knox thinking. These raggedy ass point guards messing up my game.
He probably what he was playing with it in Kentucky.
Hey, I'm gonna just jump in. Hey, let me say this real quick, man.
Saying something.
Let me jump in. Hey, Rob, let me jump in and say this real quick because I'm gonna go real quick.
See you.
but so it's just 2 things real quick. First of all, what Kev said is taken way out of context and there's no perspective, right? RJ's rookie class had a Zion Williamson and a John Morant in it.
Thank you.
Very good point. Who did Kevin Knox have in his rookie class?
You can't count Zion.
That's a good point.
Zion played 18 games.
John Morant was every month he was player of the month. It seemed like
Kevin.
Right,
Kevin.
Kev,
who was on the all rookie team?
Kev, let me finish. I sat patiently while you did your thing. Let me finish. I mean, I ain't trying to hog the thing, but I just want to just get these points in. So Kevin Knox didn't have anybody memorable in his rookie class like that, unless you count DeAndre Ayton, unless you count. And so the thing is, we say that Zion missed such and such amount of games, but the best player in that rookie class missed 2 years. So we got to keep stuff in context. We know Michael Porter Jr. was legit the #1 high school player in the country coming out in that draft class. So we gotta, man, when we make these takes, we gotta use some context. And I know, you know, when you made those facts, you were Knoxicizing. You know what I'm saying? I know you were Knoxicizing, so I get it, right? But the thing is, with Knox's rookie year and RJ's rookie year, you have to look at what these players did in a linear sense, and then from a bird's eye view. Like what Knox did in his rookie year, he didn't have anybody on the roster to compete for minutes. unless you count Noah Vonleh and Mario Hazonia and Emmanuel Mudiay. R.J. Barrett's rookie year, they signed Julius Randle. They brought in Marcus Morris. So when we say compare these rookie years, you have to look at it with some type of perspective. I understand the stats. You have to look at the stats in the linear sense. Because and
I agree.
Because basically it's a bottom line business, right? But you also have to take the bird's eye view and look at was Knox competing with the basketball with a Julius Randle? You know what I'm saying? Secondly, you don't even have to look at Knox and RJ to see who the better player. You could just mention it. Who's the better player right now? Everybody knows is RJ Barrett. Yeah. So comparing like the rookie years and the impact on the team, man, is not even. I would say this instead of comparing Knox to RJ, right? Because RJ was the third pick in the draft and he should be better, right? How about compare Knox to somebody that was picked kind of where he was picked in the draft, like a Frank Ntilikina? Is Knox better than Frank? I would, you know what I'm saying? I would do something more like, you know what I'm saying, more in that line.
And he ain't better than Frank.
Okay, all right.
I'm not even cracking jokes. I'm being serious, Freezy. He ain't better than Frank.
Here's my,
Frank ain't scoring. Frank can do something on the defensive side of the ball that you can count on.
What, foul out the game in 12 minutes?
You know that's an anomaly. Frank don't normally foul out.
I'm going to say something. Here's a fact. Hold on, Ron. Let me say something.
That was Tatum's class. That was Brown's class. That was Donovan Mitchell's class. Freezy was totally wrong with
Kevin Knox was drafted with Luka Doncic, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson, Melvin Bagley, Wendell Carter, Miles Bridges, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That draft was deep.
So let me say, don't sit here and say, "Oh, he didn't come out with nobody."
I don't like Freezy say what he say, then he run, then he come back with another card. he don't wait for no answers. He don't wait for no answers.
That's funny, boy.
So let me dispel that. Kevin Knox made an all-rookie team with the rookies that he came out with. Won the rookie of the month with that rookie class.
That says a lot.
And so I'm not going to sit here and say who was on the all-rookie team this year. Who was that getting in Toronto? I don't even know his name. But come on now, Freezy. Come on now.
But you know that got a feeling going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Knox proved me wrong. But I said this like last year. Knox may be one of them players, Frank too, that's going to do better away from New York.
Like I said,
I'm not making that call now.
We'll go with Knox. Here's the thing.
COVID training camp.
Hey, just real quick, you know who made the 2018 All-NBA rookie team? Dennis Smith Jr.
Oh, he was balling. He was balling now. I remember him. He was balling in Dallas.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with Knox.
He was balling, but he wasn't passing.
He's balling now.
I think he averaged 5 assists that year. His rookie year, 15 and 5 or 18 and 15 and 5, something like that.
Yeah,
but did I explain to you about the Marbury assist?
You know, it's misleading thing.
When you don't got the shot, that's what he did. Marbury assist.
Dennis Smith averages rookie season 15 points, 5.2 assists, almost 4 rebounds. He shot 31% from 3. But the misleading thing is, with all of that good stuff, his offensive win share, which means how many games he personally contributed to, was he lost almost 2.5 games because of what he did on offense, negative 2.4. So that's
why they turned the keys over to Luka.
Yeah, exactly. And his plus minus was negative 2.4 that rookie season. So his best year was negative across. So even though he had those good stats, he still hurt the team. And that's, like you said, why after 1 year they said bye-bye.
We've seen enough.
We've seen enough.
The Marbury assist looks good on paper, but it doesn't do anything for the team.
Yeah, my old joke with Marbury was, I'd say to friends, Marbury had a quadruple double. He did? Yeah, 23 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds, 10 turnovers.
I'm gonna tell you what. If him and KG would have stayed together,
Yeah, I just watched that kid from
Boy.
Coney Island today. That was pretty good.
if him and KG would have stayed together, that
Yeah.
would have been something special.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to say thanks so much to the live chat. We hit the 100 milestone on likes. We're up to 815 subscribers. God bless you, man. Supporting the family, the Nick at Night and Nick Morning Drive family. We're hitting that, and this is taking off, and we're so proud that everyone's part of this. It's just real exciting for all of us, but we're also really appreciative of all your support, your just hanging with us. It's like a family, like Freeze always says. Your questions, your comments, you just give us all this great energy, and we're really, really appreciative. And we're coming to that time tonight where we're going to be closing it down. I was hoping Freezy would come in for a sec, and but I think he's in a car or in a closet. I can't tell.
They got an APB out on him. They got an APB out on Freezy because he keep on hitting and running. He's looking for him.
Oh, but definitely check him out at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. The shows one after another have been fire, and he's killing it. He's killing it. So, any last things you guys want to say? Thoughts?
If anybody got NBA TV, they're getting ready to show the Knicks preseason. I'm just keeping an eye on it. They coming up in about 2 other teams. They get 15-minute like cash outs on the team, what they think they're gonna do and everything. They usually have a good one. NBA TV.
They're getting ready to talk about it in 2 minutes.
No, in about another 2 teams, so it'll probably be like another 15 minutes.
Okay.
They're not up yet, but they almost up.
I'm going to be checking out Curse of Oak Island because my wife and I have a running joke. You watch Curse of Oak Island? Yeah. What they find? Not a fucking thing. So for 5 years that show's on finding treasure that they've never found. So, Kev, any last thoughts, my friend?
I'm sorry. I'm going. Freezy better be glad that he's not here because I was looking at Knox's rookie class, and just another thing of the 14 players taken in the lottery, Knox is fourth in he's technically 10th in minutes played, and that's behind like Michael Porter Jr., who was hurt and didn't play that much. Mo Bamba, I don't even know what his thing is, and Jerome, I don't even know who Jerome Robinson is. So I don't know.
Yeah, man, he didn't get a fair. Look, Knox ain't get the minutes. Ain't nobody gonna keep on crying about defensive. I gotta see defense from somebody first getting out of college. I'm not a fan of that. Because you learn defense in the league. Nobody come in, but if you got an offensive side of the ball, you gotta mature that. You gotta push that for that player until the defense catch up. You don't just sit him on the bench because he ain't playing no damn defense. I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's real stupid. You play them players. If you're losing already, you can you play them, you make them run, get me some baskets. If we're gonna be losing, we're gonna lose looking good losing. I ain't gonna be looking bad losing, we gonna look good.
I know it's tomorrow's game night.
Yeah,
and
game night.
So what we expecting tomorrow?
Any predictions? Last time I think you were right on target. I think you said a 6-point win the first game. Any thoughts about any predictions?
Not
Against Cleveland, no Kevin Love, right?
I'm not sure, but I think he has a calf injury, so he may be able to play, but I think it'll probably be a game time decision.
He ain't gonna play. He ain't gonna play.
Especially with the calf. That's not something you want to play with.
Yeah, Knox gonna get 15 to 20 points. If he gets
I hope so, man. I want the kid to be successful. I really do.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of us watching guys leave us and go elsewhere, and because I'm telling you right now, if he don't pop this year, you know they're gonna move on from him.
No, they not. They're gonna give him his 4th year like they gave Frank.
I don't know. I don't think it's that cut and dry, man.
I do.
I think they're gonna keep him because there's just no value anywhere else to put him. So might as well just
need a point guard to push this man's game. Or you gotta. It's 2 things you gotta do. You gotta either Give him the ball and say go off, or give him a point guard to put him in his spots to see his game. That's the point guard's
Tell you
job.
what, he got a sweet shot, man. I must say that now. He got a sweet stroke. He just
Imagine if somebody was breaking down or running off the pick and roll and Knox is still in the corner and the point guard is capable of coming off the pick and roll and hitting the shot or going to the basket, and you got Knox in the corner.
I still remember that game when he posterized Ben Simmons.
Yeah, I think Knox is going to bury that shot. Out of 10 times, I think he's going to hit 4.
And like John Thibodeau said,
you need to tell him go to the basket more, man.
Like John
Stop
Thibodeau
selling
said,
jump shots.
when Kevin Knox takes good shots, he's going to hit them. Just because he hasn't. I mean, here's the thing: of all the shots he took the first 2 games, I won't say any of them were bad shots.
He just missed them.
He just missed them.
Yeah, because it was quite a few of wide open shots, and I couldn't believe that they left him like that. I was like, do y'all know who this guy is? Y'all leave him wide open?
Yeah, like I said, he's not bad shots.
Everything he do tomorrow, I'm going to concentrate. Even if he don't shoot the ball, I'm going to see how he's cutting, how he's moving, and I'm going to have a full Knox report, unbiased tomorrow. It's going to be unbiased.
I'm going to give him a clean slate. All them guys getting a clean slate from me too, Rob. Tomorrow, I'm looking with objective eyes, more of analyzing the game, more so than just watching it, for pleasure. I'm gonna watch it on the coaching level to see what they're doing right and what they ain't doing right. And I'm telling y'all, don't be surprised, man. Something coming. Something is coming.
Yeah, I hope so. Hey, shout out to Frederick in the chat. Thank you so much for your kind
Lowry
and your support, man. Thank you.
Lowry, brother Mike Lowry.
Peace to the chat.
Yep. Hey, fellas, we'll be at it again tomorrow night. We're going to get a win tomorrow night. I'm predicting Knicks by 10. Suffocating defense tomorrow night. Because I think
easy game.
I want everybody doing what they need to be doing. I don't care win or loss. I want to see cutting. I want to see shooting. I want to see defense. I just want to see them play a complete game.
They play to their capabilities like they did in that first game. We winning.
And I got my partners back. I'm looking for Knox to have a big game too. So
15 to 20. Kev, I got you. I got you, bro.
I'm looking at
15 to 20. We should get 25 minutes.
And 8 for Frank Ntilikina.
12.
Both of them boys may end up with 12 tomorrow night.
Here's my thing. They need to put up at least 100 shots. That's what I want to see. I want to see an up-tempo pace. I need to move the ball.
I want to see DSJ tomorrow more so than anybody play good.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see that kid.
He's a good kid, we don't want him hurting.
Rough last year, man. I want to see that kid. I want to see all these kids succeed, man. But I think the most, because I know how important that point guard position is, we all know that will make or break your team. And we can stop all this talk about trading or internet. Just imagine if DSJ takes off. We won't have to worry about the point guard position. We can address something else.
After the game, I don't want to look at the position and see 12 minutes here, but he shot only 2. He hit 2, 3.
Kids can get in rhythm. Exactly, man.
What
That's another shout out to Motivated by Success. I want to see them guys, too, get on the floor.
Yeah.
And not on mop-up duty or none of that. Give them time. And I really would like to see Obi start tomorrow night. Start Obi.
Like I said, this should be a game where Randall just sits out.
Yeah, just sit him out. You know you're going to start him.
It makes all the sense in the world to sit him out. All the sense.
Randall, Payton, and then if you're going to put Alex in there, give him the sparing minutes, and you give RJ, you give Knox
the minutes. Yeah, give Knox the buck. What they really need to do tomorrow night is just run with the youngsters.
Yeah, and if
the team ain't gonna be facing this bunch of youngsters anyway.
That's right. All right, fellas, I'm out.
Yeah, so the last thing, if Freezy, if you hear us, congratulations again. We're up to 800 subscribers. And do us a favor, we worry about you, man. Get some sleep. We appreciate your grind, but got to take care of yourself, man. Please, we worry about you. God bless everyone. Have a great night.
Your boy gonna give me 12 tomorrow night, and we gonna cut up. You heard me?
Yeah. As always, honor, fellas.
We got to speak it into existence.
Yeah, hey, he's due.
Okay.
All right, Steve, the Professor Fox.
You're the best. Take
Great
care.
show, man.
And please check out Ron, Man, New York Knicks videos. They're always hot. God bless you, man. Content is fantastic.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, I don't know that. You're a good guy. You don't want to be like me. That's for sure. Hey, take care, man. Have a good night.
You too.
God bless.